And welcome to another edition of the High Roller Super Millions that is, of course, being played over at GGPoker. It is week 23 already. Time flies when you're having fun. I'm Kevin van der Kooi, also known as Rotterdam in the world of StarCraft 2, and you may have seen me at some of the tables over at GGPoker. And as always, I am joined by the one and only Nano Noko. And Nano Noko, you have been cheating on me with another Kevin. I've seen you. What is this all about?
Yeah, exactly. Another Kevin. That's right. It was Kevin Martin, who you always speak highly of as a streamer, right? Over on GG. We were doing a stream for the Battle of Malta, which was a epic final table too. Just like one of those fun ones where you're not sure what to expect, but a bunch of craziness happening. You know, two guys playing heads up, everyone else just folded. It was a lot of fun with Kevin. Of course, me and Kevin are going to do two more streams, I believe, up for the Battle of Malta, so you guys can check that out.
But I'm going to go with the absolute crusher, the man who has set the record, 5 final tables. I think Lina 900, Nicholas Asset, is going to get the job done today.
Well, he is a very good pick, man. I tell you, I do think he is guaranteed top 3, man. That guy is so good, but there's the curse. You can't make 5 final tables and not ship it yet. He's practically never going to ship one, but he's going to keep making these final tables. We'll see.
No, I'm actually a bit worried here about the first hand, because imagine if everybody folds and then it falls to Nicholas, and then Nicholas just shoves ace deuce and he gets snap called by the guy who plays too slow with the ace king. Uh-oh.
And then like Elis is already doing his emoji things, so like he's not even involved in the hands. Remember you were saying maybe save some time, but you know, that's cool. And I think your guy is in trouble. I don't know, what does David Yen get?
Oh, no. Oh, no. No.
Wow, so you picked the guy with stack already.
That is a sick. That is an absolutely sick setup. Let's see if Nicholas can run hot here and spike a deuce. Nope. We do have running clubs alive. Oh! The deuce from heaven needs to avoid a king. I mean, yep, that is safe. I mean, that is brutal, heartbreaking for I play too slow. But what a way for Nicholas Estet to start this final table. Unbelievable.
And everyone else got to be feeling this. They just literally didn't have to sweat any page. You know, they got a page jump instantly. Wow, must be awesome. Alex Ponikovs is loving it. He was in 9th place. Nicholas. Okay, so Joker Face is sitting out. So Nicholas Estet, I think he might just ship it in 9-4 ops. I don't know. I'm not sure. He is going to ship it. Wow, your guy, you blessed your guy so hard. Maybe today's your day. Maybe there is a chance the 5th time is the charm to win. About 14 million chips is good. That's great too, because he's got position on all of the big stacks. Look at it. He's got position on all of the big stacks. David Yen's probably like, oh my God.
Fireworks maybe here?
Oh, wow.
I don't know if Elis folds King Jack
Does
here. No, he does not. He makes the call. Nanonoko, King Jack against ace-6 suited.
Flip. Oh, wow. 2 guys down? Back. Was that first 2 hands? Yes. It was, right?
Yes. No, well, we had 1 fold hand. Technically, this is the 3rd hand, because Nicholas Osset shipped the 9-4 offsuit.
Oh, right, you're right.
Well, Alexei did make a pay jump, right? He came in as the shortest stack, and he finished in 8th place, but obviously only 3 hands in. That can't possibly feel very good. We can go back to the first hand real quick, as I think Nicholas is just going to take this one down, unless Davide Kitai wants to defend a King 6.
He does,
we'll talk about it.
He's Davide Kitai. I want to say this, though. This dude, Joker Phase, did not show up to the tournament so far, and he's gotten 2 pay jumps in 3 hands. This guy, like, he's going to wake up, right? And he's going to be, oh, my God, I missed the tournament. I can't believe I got 9th place. Like, wow, I got an extra, like, 80K. Wow, this must be nice. Okay, so we got 2 shorter. I mean, I don't really want to call them short stacks, but, you know. They got a lot of chips. Ace-8, man, this is tough, because it's clear my last hand. You don't want to use that right now, because it could be your last hand, Elis. Ace-8 here, chip EV. This would be a call from definitely for chip EV point of view. ICM,
yep,
not sure, but that's a good call.
That is indeed a good call for now, but Elis runs pretty hard at these final tables. Michael Watson does not. He needs an ace or a 9 on the river, or he is left with basically nothing.
Oh,
wow. Man, poor Michael Watson. He really does run pretty rough at these final tables, doesn't he?
He's back to where he was, you know, at the bottom. He did outlast those 2 guys. but he's in trouble here. He is ahead
Only.
here against a Jack 10, but I really feel like he's done this hand.
Yeah. I think he's, or actually, I think he's gonna win this one because you always lose the big ones, but then you win the
Yeah, no,
smaller
he's
one.
done. I told you. I told you. Oh, he's back. He's back. Okay, never mind. Never mind.
This is classic Nanonoko. He's done. He's done. Oh no, there are still cards to come. No, this actually, I don't know if you're familiar with this, but when you have these like 55, 45 scenarios, when it's for your tournament life, basically, you lose the 10 million pot, and then you get it in with two big blinds, and then you win, and you're like, yeah, great. Exactly what I was hoping for.
I don't know if you've ever had it happen, but in live poker, right? Like you see some guy get coolered so hard and they win the next hand. The guy next to you goes, nice hand, nice hand. You're like so steaming
Oh,
still, right? Because you just
yeah.
like maybe you sucked out when you had 3 big blinds, but you're not thinking about that. You're thinking about the 100 big blind pot you just
Yep.
lost, aces to kings, and the guy spiking it.
Yep. No, he would have had 33 plus big blinds otherwise, and now he's he's like, well, I'm back to 5 big blinds, but not exactly where he wanted to be. We saw David Yan open up aces under the gun previous round, but nobody really wanted a piece of that. Now we've got Brahman flopping top pair, obviously relatively weak kicker, but you got to feel pretty good about your ace here.
Nice trap. He limped pre-flop. Didn't get greedy on the flop, went for the check call, got his opponent to bait out a bet, and his opponent does pick up a jack, so he probably wants to check, I imagine, and then play a river card. He does check. I guess Broadman, maybe he throws out like a little tiny bet. I don't know. It's hard to get value. He looks like he's going to try to induce, but chips that little pop. But Elis, you've been blessing him since last week, right? And he's got 10 million chips. He's actually in third place right now after that Queen Jack suited hand.
Something about Scandinavian players that are very good at PLO. It's like I don't know what's in the water there, but they seem to create a couple of magical PLO players. And Elis is
Ooh.
doing very good at the No Limit tournament here as well. He's opening up 7-6 suited from under the gun +1. Feeling adventurous over here.
I'll tell you, man, Michael Watson just folded 2 6s with 5 big blinds, and he would have been in good shape somehow against 7-6 suited. David Yan now, that's a good 3-bet hand, ace jack suited from the small blind. Is against this kind of a stack size. Calling's fine too. He looks like he is going to make the call, and it does flop a jack, and it's going to be real hard for him to lose this pot. I think Elis, he might bet this flop. He might check. He doesn't really have much. I would like to see him check personally. I just feel like the small blind call is quite strong in the sense that it hits the Jack 9 board reasonably well. So I like that he does check back that flop, and I would just probably wait for a river bet to consider firing a 7-6.
I just give up. I know it's very weak, but I'd be like, you know what? This is not my board. I'm not winning this hand. And then on top of that, you're going up against somebody who can also make some lighter calls because David Yen does have 12 million chips, right? This is not
Correct.
somebody with 4.5 or 5 million. I think Elis did all right. I mean, he tried to get a little adventurous with the 7-6. Sometimes you connect well with the board. This time he connected with absolutely nothing. I think there is no shame in giving up sometimes, Nano.
Yeah, definitely agree with you. King Queen. All right, that's gonna ship it in. Guess he gets it through. That's gotta feel pretty good, right? With 5 big blinds.
I think he's still pretty upset about the ace-8 against the queen jack, but yeah, I mean, he is chipping up. Joker face ain't gonna do it. He knows that he's always behind there, so there's no point. It's good to see that the emoji game is on point so far for these guys. This is the second biggest prize pool we've had. This was a 5 million guarantee this time. So obviously the guarantee went up a lot because it is high roller week over at GG. But yeah, they absolutely smashed that with 581 entries. And Elis gets a walk. That's a great feeling with Jack 6. It shows the Jack. Kind of pointless, but we'll take it. Oh, next time he gets aces. That's gotta feel good, Nana. You get a walk into aces. Oh yes.
Yeah, it looks like probably not going to win too many chips, but it's a couple extra big blinds coming in by Nicholas Estet, opening at 2.5x to ace 3. Imagine he's going to 3-bet the 2 aces. I don't think flatting would be expected in this situation.
That's a big 3-bet as well, right?
Yeah, it's a pretty. I mean, it's a reasonable three bet. They are playing deeper stacks, so you are going to see sizes up a bit more because they are going to be getting better odds to call. You don't want to make it like 1.5 million just gets destroyed post flop, right? Like they just flop a straight or
Yeah.
something.
But I thought like maybe a 1-8 or a 1-9. It's like, okay, you can maybe get a call and then you can start being aggressive on the flop. But Nicholas is like, nope, I don't want any of that. He earned his
Yeah,
chips in the dirty way, but now he wants to protect them, Nana.
I agree with you. But the thing is, in these high stakes tournaments, you got to keep your sizes consistent. Otherwise, people get some sick reads on you, right? Like if I'm playing a bunch of Roddy dams, I'm gonna put the little bait three bet out there, right? You can't help yourselves, but Elis, he's got to keep it consistent with his bluff sizing. Here's the ace nine. Okay, Watson's back in potentially if he
Yeah,
wins the
this is
spot.
honestly not that bad. If he wins the spot, he's got more chips than Joker Face. Make stop pair. Just needs to avoid the kings at this point. No king, and Michael Watson is absolutely back alive. And that's
He's
not a
back.
king, so he doubles up 3.9 million. And Joker Face is like, oh, come on. You're supposed to finish in seventh place, mate. And gives us the so sick as well. You gotta love it.
I've been loving the way Elis plays. I don't know if I'm in love with that last one. I do think he could have got it because Nicholas is just going to raise
Uh-oh.
so much garbage and he beats nine high. I think Elis is in
I
an
think Joker
annoying
Face is in
spot.
trouble. No. I think Joker
Watson's
Face
got ace
is.
king. You see that?
Yep.
Ooh. I think Elis folds. Yeah, because of he don't want to put in 2 million chips and get reshoved on. You don't want to rejam.
Nope. I mean, imagine if he calls in and Nicholas goes all in and you have to fold. You just burn 2 million for no reason. But obviously, Michael Watson is not going anywhere. And that means that Joker Face, his tournament life is on the line. Ace Queen versus Ace King. And he needs a queen or running hearts. He's not getting that. It's a queen and a queen only on the river. Can we get paint? Nope.
Son. He did get those 2 pay jumps, right? And that's the only 2 pay jumps he got. Is the first 3 hands those 2 guys busted out.
Mm-hmm. Well, Michael Watson is now actually back to 10, 11 million chips. That's pretty sick. What a recovery by Michael Watson as he once again improves his personal best.
Okay, let's forget about that. Look at these hands. It's 2 9s.
Oh no!
Oh, wow,
What?
Nicholas is dead.
Why?
You gonna? Okay, here's a question: does 2 9s make the call here? Oh my God,
I
this is
actually
tough
don't think he
spot.
will, but Davide Kitai will though. Like I
We
don't
know
think Elis
DVD's
is...
in. DVD's in, but does Elis make the call? Oh wow, I'm trying to think
I
of
don't
this.
think he does.
He
Oh, he
makes the
does.
call. The correct call though. That's a correct call of 2 9s. Now Davide Katai has got ace king. He's thinking, I know he's loving the situation, but he's also thinking, should I maybe fold and let these guys bust each other out? The answer is no, in my opinion, because when Nicholas Estet jams 35 big blinds and Elis still calls, Elis is crushing Nicholas Estet's range. So Elis is very likely to double up, in my opinion, against Nicholas Estet's range.
Well, I can also imagine that Davide Kitai is very worried about what Elis has here. It's like, what if he does have aces or kings, right? Like, it's always unlikely because you're like, oh, you're blocking that, but it's possible because that call looks very strong from the button. Imagine if you're Brahman here, by the way, Nano. If you're Brahman, you're like, Nicholas, take it all. Take it all.
Yeah, I know. He's because Davido has been super ICM cautious here. Man, there's a chance he folds. Most players would never fold this spot, but I'm telling you, wow, he folds the ace king. So sick. That's very sick. It's a good fold so far.
An ace king or a queen, he would have won. Nicholas Estet needs the 6, though. Can he get the 6? That could be a 6. It could be a 6.
Do not.
No.
Oh,
7.
the little pip in the middle came out of nowhere. Wow. So Davide actually survives somehow with the ace king folded. That's so sick. He's so ICM aware right now, and that's why I was like a little surprised. Nicholas Estet just kind of. Do you think that's a blow up? What are your thoughts on that?
I don't think it's a blow up, but it's once again, I think it's very unnecessary. It's like 6s in such an like if this was from the small blind, I'll be like, okay, whatever, that's fine, or the button. But from such an early position, you've got a big stack, but there are a couple of big stacks behind you. Yeah, I would have liked to see him not do that.
This is a battle. Our 2 guys are going at it, right? Like Davide can't be folding an ace queen here. This guy just shoved 3 hands in a row.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think he will call. I don't see any. Well, 1 queen is out. Michael Watson is sitting on a queen, but obviously still 3 aces. And two other queens to hit. You could make some straights as well. Davidi has been tied, but there's no way he's folding this. I don't believe it.
I don't believe it either. I mean, he said fold ace king, that one big one. That one's a little bit more understandable because of the multi-way, but still crazy. It's actually really crazy. Ace queen here. Yeah. Please don't fold Davidi. Let's battle it out. Me and Rotterdam fighting in this one, right? Like our two guys.
If he calls, it's a big pot, by the way. If Nicholas would win, he's back to 11 million, which is almost where he was at. But it's going to be a tough one. Let's see what Davidi decides to do. There are two more people behind him. He does make the call. Ace queen offsuit against pocket sevens. A good old raise. All right. A 4 is good now as well. So far, so good for Nicholas. Needs to avoid an ace queen or a 4. Can he avoid all those?
He's not back. He's out. He's out. And my guy's got chips now.
Nicholas Ostad eliminated in 6th place. Will walk away with $283,000, but he is definitely going to think back of the hands where he shipped in the 6s.
Davian probably should shove the 2 4s and get looked up by the ace king suited in the big blind.
And he's going to flop a set. You know it, Nana. I was so sad when I watched you cast the Battle of Malta. I saw all these pocket 4s. Not a single mention of the fact that the pocket 4s always flop. Well, sometimes it's sad. This time he's in a lot of trouble.
Jesus.
Oh, needs a 4 or David Yan. The man who came in as chip leader is out. And he is out of the tournament as Ace King makes 2 pair there. That's it, man. 4s. Do not always flop a set. We're down to 4.
When you don't have any chips, people just go, haha, I call you because you have no chips.
Oh,
but
no.
Maybe he gets a pay.
No. He's going to ship this one.
He has to, right? 6 big blinds, and Davidi's going to fold the 2 8s then.
Yeah.
If Brahman can somehow just play a little bit tighter today, a little bit tighter one more time, he will get a page up.
Let's go, Brahman. That is one hell of a fold. And Elis is probably like, all right, let's pick up the blinds. No, Elis, this is not your pot. Oh, I wonder if this is going to scare Davidi. Like, if it's just small blind against big blind, I don't think he can go anywhere. But if Michael Watson really comes over the top now, maybe Davidi lets go of the 8s?
Maybe. Because you know what Davidi's thinking? He does. Oh, my God. How did we not get an elimination in his hand? It wasn't Brahman.
Elis saved him. Elis saved him.
Well, Brahman, but how did Brahman or Davidi both dodge elimination in his hand? It's insane, isn't it? Like, I don't know how it's possible.
We've had a couple of very funny pre-flop scenarios. Tonight has not been about the post-flop poker. Okay. What? Back-to-back kings? Are you kidding me? Oh.
Brahman is done. 100% this hand.
Unless he can spike a 7. A 7 from heaven. The Ukrainian tournament live is on the line. Nope, he's super dead.
He needs a heart, and he's out.
Yeah. Wow, quads as well. Death by quads. That is going to do it for Brahman. He walks away with $413,000.
You know, the funny thing is that Elis was the one that did the damage to Mike Watson, and now Mike Watson somehow has him out-chipped at this point. Yeah. Okay, this could be it, right? Fireworks, I think it is going to be. 6's got to call it off, and Davidi, can he hold?
Needs to dodge the jacks or the 8s. Now he needs to probably dodge an ace as well. An ace, jack, or an 8 is what we need to end up with a heads-up scenario. Well, the 6s hold. That was pretty scary with the parrot board and everything, but Davidi Kitai is now back to 16 million chips. Nanonoko, your pick refuses to die tonight.
He's ready to play. Okay, right. He's got to be ready to play now. They got all the same stack. They were 3-handed, 100K pay jumps. Let's go. He's going for the trap of the ace jack. Doesn't get baited from his opponent, but they both flop pretty clean here.
Yeah, Elis probably looks at his flops like, oh, mid-pair. Got a couple backdoors. Another diamond may slow down the action, but the Davidi Kitai does have the jack of diamonds as well.
Yeah, I don't think Davidi Kitai is worried. I should just keep betting. He is going to bet again.
I think he'll take it down here. He just maybe like, is it really necessary to play a 7-8 million pot here when I could be drawing that already?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's best to get out of the way.
Ace-8 suited will be interesting because they are playing 22 big blinds. I think calling and seems reasonable. Some people like to reshove this. Some people like to 3-bet fold. I like the reshove. It's nice. He's playing great.
Man. Yep. I feel like Michael Watson is playing very well. Like he just lost a pretty big pot, but he already has all of his chips back pretty much. You see that he wakes up here with King Jack. Maybe Queen Jack is going to fight back. I would definitely like to see Elis at least call here. Doesn't flop anything. These are the worst flops ever for like Jack 10 and Queen Jack. You're like, come on. Nothing? No hope?
Okay, well, Queen Jack. He's gonna let it go. Some people like, okay, maybe it's good, but it's tough to play out of position when there's an overcard out there like that. 2 jacks and ace 4. If Elis limps this jacks, man, oh, nice.
Oh, I love it. I love the limp. Mike Watson's gonna raise this. The question is how much?
Maybe all of it. He might just ship it.
Oh, this is it, Nanonoko. Jacks against ace 4. Can Elis survive? Can he avoid the aces? So far, the answer is yes. With a 10, we can wrap this one up. There is no 10 yet. There are still some outs. Do we see pips? Do we see paint? Ooh, that got scary because, that could have been one of the scary cards, but the jacks will get the double up. And Elis...
It was so scary because Elis put the running cold before the river card flipped up, too. I'm like, oh, man, don't do it to yourself. They've all been all in at risk, too. There hasn't been any dominance throughout this final table. And ace king, he's going to go for the min raise, so that's going to get Elis to reshove, and we're going to have another all-in confrontation here. 21 million in the middle.
Yep, that's a big pot. Can the sevens hold or not? Oh, what a scary flop. Ace king or a jack is needed. We've been here before, and then we saw a queen on the river, right? Ace king or a jack?
Oh, that's an ace.
Wow, that's the second time. That's the second time we've seen that. I mean, earlier it was a very small pot because Michael Watson only had like 3 big blinds back then. This time it's a massive one. So now he's back to 21 million. This could be a big one. Yeah. For who? For who, Nanonoko?
For who? That's exactly right, Roddy. But this has to be it. Like, Elis cannot fold for 15 big blinds. Ace jack suit is just too good.
So here we go again. Last time the tables were turned, right? It was ace king against the sevens. This time it's ace jack against the sevens. Very similar flop. Oh, there's the ace.
The end.
Well, a club, we chop it. With a club, we chop it. Okay,
it's not a club. It's a 10.
And that means that we are down to 2. Michael Watson will be eliminated. He walks away with almost $500,000 and did a lot better than the previous 3 times he made it to the final table. He was pretty close to winning it, Nanonoko. He was pretty close. It's got to sting a little.
You know what? It's okay because it's a good score. That score is bigger than some of our wins for our previous Super Million champion. So like I'm happy to see it because he's such a good player. He doesn't deserve the 9th, 8th place record that he has. He deserves some of these top spots. He's done well, but in the end, it is Elis Parsonen who got top. He got 2nd place last week, right?
Yep.
He's guaranteed the same place or bigger, but the prize pool is so much bigger. So he's already scored so much. But he's up against the guy I picked, the Vidikatai, who's outfolded everyone.
It's not a very fair fight at this point, but who knows?
Hey, this could be it, right? Let's call. Davidi, let's go.
The Vidikatai needs to avoid diamonds and 9s. Oh, or a jack or a 6. No jack, no 6, and we get a double up. Can the Vidikatai hold? Yes, he can. So he chips up to 21 million. And now the fight is a little more fair. Let's get it on.
Fair fight. This is a fair fight indeed. Let's go. The Vidikatai, ace 8. I can't believe he's in heads up right now. Right? This is insane. He's 20 big blinds. And he's flop top pair. Wow, he's going to be real close with this pot.
Yep. I do think this is just going to go bet fold, right? There's no need for Elis to stick around here.
Agree. Because you know why? No backdoors. You need that backdoor spade.
That's such a big bet, by the way. He's betting 3 million there into a 4 million pot.
Yeah, I got a little greedy, but he wouldn't have got action anyways. All right, so we're going to introduce that limping game in this 23 big blind stack effective.
Elis is like, let's not do it. No back-to-back second places, please. Even though it's an amazing score, regardless. Like if you get heads up 2 weeks in a row, you just want to ship the tournament. Yeah, Dosper is 8 here on the turn, so he's gonna feel pretty good about that.
I mean, they're playing for a lot right now, you know? Like, the pay jump is big in this heads-up match.
Yeah, it's over $100,000 or almost. It's crazy.
I would like to see Elis put a bet out there.
One big
It's been
blind.
checked.
One big
It's
blind.
been pretty much, yeah. It's been checked throughout. Try to get looked up by something.
Yeah, maybe hoping his opponent had a 7. That'd be amazing. Does not work out. So we're on to the next one. Ace deuce suited against king 4 offsuit. I don't think you want to play king 4, right? In a heads up.
Yes, you definitely want to play king 4 with these kind of stack sizes as well.
Heads up poker is so fun. It's like not only the Daniel Dogpog match that I've been watching, but after I find myself in some heads up spots as well, it's like I feel like I never have anything, but they cannot always have it either. This is a big move, and I think that Davidi will just get it all in.
Depends if he is going to ship it. It just depends if you think he's got 3-bet folding range. He does, and that is a massive pot. Actually, even in chips.
Yes.
Dead even. It's a good match right now, and see, we finally got some post flop spots, right? Like it really was just all pre flop until heads up. So,
which is funny because normally it's the other way around. We get a lot of post flop action until we get heads up, and then people are just shoving into each other. Today we saved the post flop play until we were heads up, but here we are. Ooh, action flop perhaps?
Yeah, I would say it's a bit of an action flop. Elis, I would like to see Elis go for probably a flop and turn bet at least. Because Davidi is going to often have, 9-4 offsuit, things like this. But Elis does turn a pair, but he shouldn't think the pair is good. I guess the question is, does he think a better hand will fold?
It's kind of funny because Davidi has a whole bunch of things going for himself now as well. With a 6, he would make a straight. And obviously with a jack, he makes a straight as well.
Yeah, so I like that Elis is still betting. He will get a lot of better hands to fold, like, the 10-5s, the 9-3. Like, there's so many of these garbage hands. It is a straight for Davidi Katai, isn't it? Yeah.
Yep.
Nice straight, too.
Yep, pretty hidden. I don't think that Elis is really expecting Davidi to have an 8 here.
Man, Elis might just bet again. The thing is, Davidi still has a lot of hands that'll fold. Jack 10, Jack 9, these hands would call a turn bet, right? And they'll have to fold to river bet the 4 straight. Elis knows his hand is no good, and he is now out chipped by Davidi Katai. Davidi, the chip leader, going into this heads up match now. Oh my god. I can't believe he might ship it.
No, I cannot believe that either. Especially if you've watched the entire broadcast. He just makes the call here, playing it very safe, conservative. Bit surprised that he just calls there. What do you make
I
of that,
personally would have raised, but Davidi gonna Davidi, right? Oh, it's the end of Elis Parson and Ace 8 against Ace Deuce.
Ace Deuce is where some of the magic started earlier tonight, right? For Lena, Ace Deuce against Ace King. Can Ace Deuce get the job done here again? Obviously, there are some chop. Nope. He needs a deuce or a 4, or it is all over.
It is over, isn't it? It's over. Davidi Katai wins it. The Nano Noko pick has won the tournament. It wasn't the cleanest victory. He got it done. 57 million chips. 726. That's a huge score about Elis Parson in second place again, Robbie.
Back-to-back second places for Elis from Finland. That is very impressive, especially because this week we had a very big field. 581 entries because it's the high roller week over at GG. So everybody was trying to get lucky in the high roller super millions. But Nanonoko has done it again. Davidi Katai gets the job done. Really quite a remarkable run. I mean, let's not forget, 13 minutes ago, Nanonoko, he was outchipped 3.5, almost 4-1 going into this heads-up match. But he turned things around real quick.
Yeah, this was obviously a big super millions today. 720K up top. Listen, we gotta give it to Elis. He played great to his final table. I really like the way he played today. Another second place. It's a good second place to get though, because this one's worth more than the second place he got last week.
At least they can see what's happening on the stream. So I think that's a good idea. Production, if you can hear us, can we take a look at our 9 players tonight?
They say it's good now. They say it's good, I think. Let's see.
Sounds perfect.
Hello. Let's see. I've asked the can you hear us in the chat just to confirm. Noise finally. Boom. Let's go. Let's go, Roddy. Who cares about what we just said? Let's send it.
Okay, guys, we covered a couple of different topics so far. TLDR is that this is week 24. We have 185 entries, and we've got one hell of a lineup in store for you guys tonight. Let's go ahead and take a look at the man who comes in as a chip leader, as it's back-to-back final tables for him. But last week he came in as either the shortest stack or the second shortest stack. Today, Alex Ponakovs, that's the pronunciation that I'm going to go for, actually comes in as a chip leader. So production, it would be awesome if we could take a look at our man Alex. We can hype him up. He apparently did sell 50% of his action in Anoko. How do you feel about that? If you make a final table of a tournament, but you sold 50%?
If I remember, Alex Ponakovs always tries to sell some action. He's been to our final table 3 times so far. And he always comes as a short stack and outladder some people. Here, let's
0.5. So good news for Alex. They didn't believe in him, and he's like, well, I'll show these nerds at home. This was the investment that you guys all missed out on. You missed out on Tesla, you missed out on Amazon, and you missed out on Alex. As he offered to sell 50%, only sold 12.5. I love that the bio just says this man is on a heater. Yeah, back-to-back final tables, Nanonoko. That is always impressive.
Yeah, we always get back-to-back. And, like, you know, he did get 8th place and 6th place before in our tournaments. He has always been the short stack. He did outladder people on July 14th. But this time the chip leader. So he's really good at outladdering people a little bit. You know, he's used to it. But as a chip leader, it's a whole different game. Now you put the pressure on people. But he's got a tough lineup to put pressure on his opponents. You know, some of these guys, they fight back. But, you know, some of them understand the ICMs. It just really depends how certain players meld with each other. But I know this guy's he's a good player, and he's always trying to sell action for some reason. So, you know, the next time you see him in the lobby, he plays 23 of them so far. So we only missed like one of them. He's going to try to sell action again, and it's pretty much printing money.
Well, yeah. I mean, if he keeps going like this, then it will be printing money. But like you said, tonight he's got some very fierce competition. We already hyped it up, but you guys couldn't hear us. Well, we've got such a damn cool lineup. Anyway, let's take a look at one of the hands that Alex had on his journey to his 3rd or 4th final table at this point. I gotta say, this was not a very pretty one, and also kind of a wild hand, Nanonoko. There were just so many things happening on this board. He's battling it out with Nicholas, also known as Lena 900. But yeah, talk me through this hand, because I'm like, it's kind of all over the place. Obviously, he got there on the river, but what do you make of it?
Well, you know, he does bet his open-ended, well, it's a double gutter. It's always the sneaky ones. It's 4-way to the flop, it looks like. Yeah, he bets really small. Gets checked rated by the 2 pair of Lena 900. The reason why Lena 900 hasn't made another final table this week is because Alex took all of his chips here, the 2 pair. He calls a check raise, and then his opponent just jams all in with the 2 pair and a flush draw. And his straight got there on the turn, and he just held. You know, I would say, you know, you got to bet and call that flop, and it's just unfortunate for Lena 900. Sometimes your opponents make big hands, and it's just good timing on the to hit that turn card.
I mean, Nicholas still had so many good cards to potentially hit on the river as well, right? Every spade, every ace, every 8.
Yeah, lots of outs.
Yeah, it's not much he really could have done about it, but this one worked out well for Alex. Congrats to him coming in as a chip leader. So finally he can really show us what he's made of, because obviously if you come in with 7 or 8 big blinds, it is hard to make a proper run. We've seen it happen, but we can't really fault these guys if they do shove it in with ace king and then they get eliminated as, you know, 9th place, 8th place. These things just happen. Let's take a look at our next play. We got to speed it up a little bit, of course, guys, because of the technical difficulties we've had. But the actual poker, as always, will start in 20 minutes from now. This is our pre-show. You know what, Nano? It's much better to have some issues in the pre-show than when the cards are actually up in the virtual air. But I'll just let you talk about this man, because I know that you've got a man crush on him. You've been talking about him for weeks, and he's finally back.
Yeah, I remember the very first time we seen Bruno Volkman. I had no idea who this guy was, but then we watch him play, man, this guy's aggressive. He's 3-betting, 4-betting, doing all sorts of stuff. You know, I can see him here playing live poker as well. He's he's got 7 million online earnings in general. He's a big online crusher. That the one he won September 22nd. Man, I forget who he was playing against, but he was 3-betting and 4-betting every hand, just jamming. He was very relentless and aggressive. Maybe he's not some of the names like you know, the guys coming up like Steven Chidwick, you know, all those big guys. But he's very good online player, and I love his performance on September 22nd. I think that was one of the very fun ones to watch. He was just going reckless and crazy. He was just battling it out, and he's here coming in second place. Before he didn't come in near the top, came in the middle, and you know, he kind of had to build his chip stack. But today he already starts with that stack to pressure his opponents. He's up against a tough lineup, so he's going to make it fun today to watch.
And let's take a look at one of the hands that one of Nano's favorites had on his journey to his final table. I gotta say, that is an ugly river card for Emmy, but what else do you make of it? I feel like it's somewhat straightforward, right? Obviously, he calls pre-flop, spikes the set, makes a full house on the turn. Life's pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Basically, in this hand, see, the thing is, Bruno Volkman has a pretty bad image in general. He's always barreling off. So when he makes hands, he knows he's got the bad image. He's going to go for big value. He gets looked up by just ace high on the turn. Of course, when the river card comes, Ami's not going to go anywhere. But you can see that Bruno's not trying to bet small to make sure his opponent calls. He's betting big because he knows he's got a terrible image, even though the board is paired.
Pocket 3 is getting it done. Well, I'm very excited to see Bruno Volkman play tonight because it was indeed a crazy amount of fun to see him take it back then. Let's see if he can have another magical run. I know that normally you would pick Bruno just because you love the way that he plays and you're a fan of his aggression. But when we take a look at the player that we have up next, coming in as third to the final table, number 24, I have the feeling that you may pick this guy, Nanonoko. Because next up, guys, production, if we can take a look at our next player, it is the one and only Justin Bonomo. For the very first time, he has made it to a final table of the High Roller Super Millions. But I mean, this guy has pretty much crushed everything he has played in the last few years. Nano, how cool is it to have Justin with us tonight?
It's very cool to have Justin Bonomo here. I mean, how often does someone have 10 million in one tournament alone? And the 5 million score, half of that. It's so sick. He's the biggest crusher. He did so well that one year. I forget which year it was exactly, but he's only played 5 Super Millions. So, you know, yeah, he's got a Super Million total earnings of 0, but he's only played it 5 times. But now he's here in third place. People are in trouble here today. He's tough. And if I remember, I do have one bad memory of Justin Bonomo. He eliminated me from the 100K Triton main event, very close to the money. So he made me bubble the freaking tournament when I had 2 queens and he had ace 10. Oh God, bad memories. But he's a good player.
I think that's an understatement, Nano. If Justin Bonomo is a good player, I want to see the great players. And I think he's one of the greatest in the game. Let's take a look at one of the hands that Mr. Bonomo had on his journey to his very first final table of the High Roller Super Millions. And you just mentioned queens. Well, Nanonoko, he had queens here as well, as he was taking on Gravy Boat, by the way. My heart still goes out to Gravy Boat because that poor man had to fold every premium pocket pair he had on the final table a couple of weeks ago. But talk us through the hand.
Wow, you really do remember the Gravy Boat. Yeah, in this hand, it is blind versus blind. Bonomo bets the flop and then he bets the turn. You know, a lot of guys would just get they bet one street with 2 queens and they're a little bit scared because their opponent could have the top pair, but Bonomo recognizes that it is a blind versus blind spot. Ranges are wide, so he can go for thinner value bets. Plus, he's got, you know, an aggressive image, so maybe he gets looked up by worse, like, you know, like the 8-9s. These hands will probably continue against Justin Bonomo, but they might fold against other players. It's about knowing your image, knowing how your opponents perceive you, and then taking the best line accordingly.
Well, I think it's not just us, but I think a lot of guys in the chat will be very excited to watch Justin Bonomo play tonight. Obviously, the whole cards are up, so we can actually see what he does in different spots, and that is going to be so much fun. Let's take a look at our next player, another familiar face, a man who has made it to the final table just a couple weeks ago. November 15th, wow, is this 3 final tables in a row? November 15th, November 8th, and today is November 24th.
Three
possible?
final tables in a row. Wow, that's pretty sick, man. In the one he got, oh, November 15th, he got 46th place. What kind of final table is that,
Okay,
Roddy? Come
I'm
on.
confused.
Man,
I
you
was
trolling
distracted
me,
by the stats.
trolling me so hard.
Yeah, okay, but he did make final table 2 weeks ago, so it's not back-to-back final tables, but it's almost a back-to-back final tables. And you picked him back then, didn't you? Because you truly believed in Timothy Adams going all the way.
Yeah, in the tournament he got 5th place. He actually came in as top 2 stack, I believe. He was very high up there. But I don't know. I don't remember what happened, how he got 5th place in the end. But he's back. He's in 4th. This is a tough final table already. This man has done very well lately. Just everywhere he's been getting I don't think he's won into the tournaments he's been playing. I saw him play like a 25K somewhere, and then he got 2nd place. But he's a very big crusher. Primarily a cash game player beginning. Now he plays high stakes tournaments because, well, that's where all the money's at. It's a tough lineup today. There's a lot of good choices.
Well, if he runs like he runs in one of the hands that we are about to cover, I think he's got a really good shot at taking the entire thing down, Nanonoko. I don't know if you've seen his hand, but production, let's take a look at one of the hands that Timothy Adams had on his journey to his 2nd final table in 3 weeks. And these are the kinds of hands that, Nano, I feel like even I would play them pretty well. I would probably find a way to get absolute minimum value, but life's pretty good when you're flopping quads and your opponents are all hitting you on the river.
Yeah, he's got maximum value with these quads. It's hard. Sometimes you hit quads, you're just thinking, man, how do I get paid off? Because I'm holding all of the key cards, right? But he actually got his opponent to just do some crazy bluffs at him. So you can see he flops quads, but he's a pre-flop raiser, but he bets really tiny. He tries to jabait his opponent so hard, and his opponent actually check raises him. Turn, it gets checked him. He's like, okay, I knew you were bluffing because I'm holding the 2-8s. You can't have an 8 if I'm holding them. So he checks it back, and then the river comes to ace, and he bets really, really small in this pot, and he gets his opponent to just check raise all in with the pair blockers, trying to represent that 8, and of course he's going to snap it off, and free chips, man. It's about the sizing that's right? Because some people, they get excited with the quad 8s, and they're like, on the river card, it gets checked, they're like, okay, I'm all in, and then maybe their opponent hero folds, but now you got to leave these super million regs some room to bluff.
Well done by Timothy, getting the absolute best out of his quads. Let's take a look at our next player. We still have 12 minutes to go until the final table starts, guys. So we're not missing any poker action yet. Don't worry. Player that we don't know too much about, Babygirl21, one of the very few players that satellited their way into this event and then made it to the final table as well. Super million earnings so far, 0. Well, that's going to change tonight. But other than that, we can't really say much about this, Nano.
Yeah, we always got to throw in those unknown curveballs. They're a little hard to predict. Some of them are really crazy. Some are just, trying to ladder up a bit. But it's nice because it just shakes things up a bit, makes some of the pros play a little bit differently. We don't know what to expect today, but another new player to GG with $0 in the Super Millions could be fun.
Yep. What stands out to me as well is that almost 50% of the total earnings that Babygirl21 has on GGPoker was made in one specific event, the Bounty Hunter Series 173. Getting 2nd place there in a 1K freeze out for 79K, that's awesome. But that's like over 50% actually of the total earnings so far. So tonight, we could potentially win more than Babygirl has ever won so far in their career on GGPoker. But maybe we're getting a little ahead of ourselves then because this is a very stacked field. Yeah, good luck to Babygirl. Let's take a look at one of the hands that he or she had on her journey their journey. Let's go with their journey to the final table. Ace-10 of clubs, battling it out with the Ace-3 offsuit. Nanonoko, anything stands out for you?
I mean, a lot of people like to just bet this flop when they got the nut flush draw, right? It's 5 deuce deuce, but decides to check it back because try to rope in your opponent. Maybe they catch something. Maybe they some tricky lines. It's nice to have some strong hands when you check back flops, and then gets looked up by ace high on the turn and river card. So pretty well played, and you just gotta be a little careful when you see someone check back such big hands. You're like, oh, they're capped, but they're not capped.
What actually stands out to me the most here is that this is obviously very deep in the tournament, and Charlie D23 had over 2.2 million chips starting this hand and did not make it to our final table. So this could very well be the start of like a little blow up that Charlie had, because if you look around, A couple of players did make it to the final table. I mean, we're not even full ring here anymore. And Charlie still has so many chips here, so I really wonder what happened there. But well done by Baby Girl, played the hand well. And we look forward to covering some of their action tonight. Next up, a man that we already have a little look at here because he was on the right side of this table. He's back again. David Misikowski has made it to 2 final tables before. This is a 3rd final table. Played in all the high rollers Super Millions so far. Has cashed 7 times. Pretty sick. He has won $231,000 alone of this tournament series. That's pretty good.
Yeah, he needs one of these top spots though, but a 9th place, 7th place, he hasn't done well yet. He is coming in 6th place, so not too hot. He's got tough competition. Is 3rd time a charm for David Misikowski? I don't know, but you know, he does. At least he still has that bracelet from 2014 he can hold on to.
It's really cool to see that some of these guys have been, obviously, you know, they're pros, so they play for the money, but they gotta have a lot of passion for poker as well. Because it feels like this guy has been grinding for a long time, has been putting in the hours, and apparently he's not getting tired of it because he has played 24 Sundays in a row. I find that pretty admirable, and I hope that David has a great run tonight. Let's take a look at one of the hands that he had on his journey to his 3rd final table. We have Ace-9 of diamonds. Wow, it's kind of taking it down on the river there, with a very feisty bet, but talk us through.
You can see, okay, defense pre-flop with the Ace-9 suited, check calls the flop with just Ace-High on the 6-5 deuce, and then when the top card pairs, he decides to lead out small. He's like, well, you know what? It's more likely I have a 6 because, you know, when you raise from that position, you're just less likely to have a 6 in the cutoff, right? Because people aren't raising the 6-4 offsuits and things like this. So he knows he's got more 6s in the range. He decides to lead out. Gets called and river comes to deuce, and he jams all in. And this is pretty much, obviously a bluff. He can represent that full house really well, and he's just thinking, look, if you got like ace high, you're probably not going to call on this board. If you got 2 7s, 8s, it could be a very tough call for you because Misikowski, he's not representing too much bluffs, and this is a strong play, and I love to see it because a lot of guys, they like to bet the turn, and they're like, okay, I checked the river, I've got the ace high showdown, but you know, there's a reason why he's here at the final table. He's found opportunities to win more chips than other players wouldn't win.
See, Ole Chemion was playing as well this week and actually had a proper stack, but didn't manage to go all the way this time. Well, like I said, I'm very excited to watch David play again. Hope he has a proper run tonight. Next up, I feel like I already know what you're going to say. You're going to say that this man is still salty from the World Series of Poker main event, but obviously a very familiar face at this point to the High Rollers Super Millions. Dario Sammartino, his 3rd final table as well. He's had a couple of proper runs, a top 5 finish, a top 3 finish. It's really good to see Dario back. I still don't think he's that salty about that 2nd place, Nanonoko, but I'll let you have your speech again.
Oh, he's salty for sure. Come on, look. He's got 6 million, and that's a big score, right, in 2nd place. But Bonomo showed us a $10 million score not too long ago, so you know what? He's got to feel like I'm not the best here. Look, he got a 5th place and 3rd place. I actually picked him to win at least one of those. I can't remember if I picked him both times. I picked him at least one time to win. He didn't ship it. He's not going to ship it with 7 big blinds today. Dario's a very aggressive player. He's very good, but I don't know if it's going to happen today. I do wish him the best of luck, but with 7 big blinds, you got to make some moves soon, or you're going to be in trouble. He's probably going to try to ladder up, in my opinion.
So we have multiple true proper short stacks coming into this final table, because normally a player that comes in 7th place has at least 13, 14, 15 big, something among those lines. But even though Dario Sammartino comes in as 7th, he only has 7 big blinds to work with, so he really is a proper short stack. Well, if he runs like he did in the hand that we are about to cover, I feel like he could still take it all the way down. Production, let's take a look at one of the hands that Dario Sammartino had. This is definitely a hand that truly helped him get to the final table. It's not a very pretty one. I mean, you're raising free flop, you're calling, and you're like, well, you're actually behind. You're betting flop, gets called, still behind. All in on the turn, Nanonoko, still behind, river, bam, spikes it, the 2-outer, but yeah, what are you really? I mean, you can't really fault him for playing the way that he did his queens.
There's a reason we don't see David Peters here at the final table. You can see this is probably pretty far in the tournament, given that there's 6-handed at this table. Yeah, if he just keeps running like this, it doesn't matter how many chips you have, because as long as you don't get eliminated, well, lucky played, Dario Sammartino. Good luck.
The good old two outer on the river, deep into a tournament as well. I mean, I do think that top 20 got paid here, and hopefully for David Peters, this wasn't like the bubble, because that would be truly heartbreaking. Imagine if he finished 21st, but well done, obviously, by Dario. There's obviously nothing he could have really done. You got to believe in your queens there, even if they were no good up to the river. That means we've got two more players to cover. Next up, believe it or not, another very familiar face. And this is why we love doing the High Roller Super Millions on Tuesdays, because we've got nothing but crushes making reappearances to these final tables. But Alex Foxen, he's here once again. Nano, is there one more way we can praise Alex Foxen in a way we haven't done it yet?
He was very fun to watch on the one he got 5th place in. He came in as a short stack in that one. He's coming in short stack here again. Just 6.6 big blinds. He doesn't have much to work with. He does always try to sell action. He does sell at a markup, but if you are interested, you can get some action from him. He did sell to 34 different people at 1.2, 20%. But I'm sure he's going to be playing some more. And he's played 22 times. But right now he's got a lot of work to go. But if he gets chips, he knows how to ships tournaments. He puts on the pressure. Good luck to him today.
Indeed, good luck to Alex Foxen. Let's take a look at one of the hands that helped him get to his second final table, as he had, well, not much, but you gotta love it, you know. I think at that point he did still have a reasonable amount of chips. He actually had more chips, I believe, than he currently does. Yeah, the 6-5, talk us through now. No, I mean, he's got the gut shot, but what else is really happening here?
Well, he's also raised from the big blind against the small blind limp, trying to punish his opponent with 6-5. He bets the flop, gets called, he puts a big bet on the turn. He's probably going to put a big bet on the river card if he had gotten called again, so I don't think there was any chance that pink flop was going to win this one. This is just power muscle poker, and there's a reason he ships a lot of tournaments. You make these plays. Of course, there's a reason why you don't ship tournaments sometimes we get to the end, because you bust early, because you make these plays. But maybe that's why he doesn't have many chips anymore. Maybe he made some big bluff very close to the final table bubble. But I'm telling you, he's a force to be reckoned with. If he had a bunch of chips, just like Bonomo and those guys, it'd be a very proper match.
We've got 2 minutes until the final table starts, and that means we have one more player to cover. Let's take a look at our shortest stack coming into the 24th final table. And this is a man who's also back, but when we spoke about him before, we referred to him as Dokani, because that used to be his name, but now he's been labeled as a real name, Sami Kalapuro. That's what I would go for in my best Finnish accent. Nanonoko, how much can you tell us about Sami?
Sammy is he's one of the original OG heads up. He was playing like Durr and all those guys in those 500, 1,000 games, known as Lars Luzak in the online world. There's a lot to talk about this guy, but he's only got 3.2 big blinds. So how much can I hype up how good this guy? Look, if this guy had a bunch of chips and you weren't sure who to pick, you probably would pick him because you love those Finnish players, right? And I tell you, if you had picked him, if you picked this guy, but if he had more chips, you would not be disappointed at all.
Yeah, I actually didn't know that it was Lars Lusak, but that is a name that actually rings bells to me when I used to follow online poker in the early days before, obviously very busy with the video games and stuff. And that is a name that even I have heard. So let's take a look at one of the hands that Sami had. 3.2 big blinds. It is going to be very tough for him, but hopefully for all of us, he can double up a couple of times and give us a proper show tonight. We've got the King 10 offsuit here on a pretty damn dry board. Nano, what do you see?
I mean, look, he calls a 3-bet of King 10. And his opponent c-bets into 9-5 through rainbow, and he floats him just King 10 high, just a backdoor flush draw. He's just like, I know you guys like to c-bet small on these boards and just give up. And his opponent checks the turn. He doesn't have anything on turn. He bets small on turn and he gets the job done. This is why I wish this guy gets some chips, because these are the moves we like to see. With 3.3 big blinds, you got to do more than just one double up if you want to be fighting in this final table tonight.
All right. Well, it is 30 minutes past 7, at least for me, Central European time. And that means it is time to talk about some poker. The final table will start now. Let's bring it up on the screen. We might still see a little bit of the seat selection process going down. Yeah, we're kind of in the middle of it. So, Nanonoko, that gives us some time to do perhaps your favorite part of the show. This is something that Nanonoko enjoys more than giving us great commentary about all these hands, talking us through the meta that will always evolve in poker. Who's going to win the tournament today, then, Anoko?
Well, you know what, Roddy? You can have first pick. It's a tough one. I'm going to give you the first pick today. I think you're going to pick Sammy. Is that right with the 3 big blinds? No, I'm just kidding. Who's your pick tonight?
Well, actually, in my mind, you were gonna pick first, so I had 2 picks ready. But if you give me first choice, I mean, this might be a bit of a cliche, but then I'm gonna go for Justin Bonomo, man. This guy just wins tournaments every single time I see him make final tables of big tournaments, whether it's live or online. I feel Justin Bonomo just knows how to get the job done. So seems like a pretty straightforward, solid pick to me.
I mean, you haven't picked correctly yet, so I don't think Justin Bonomo would like to hear that. And Justin Bonomo, he busted me out 100K, so I cannot pick him, even though he's probably the clear favorite in this situation. But my pick is Bruno Volkmann. I love Bruno Volkmann. I didn't know this guy much about him before, but when I saw that final table performance, I was just in love. He's coming in second place today. He's going to put the pressure on. It doesn't matter if you're Justin Bono. He's still going to 3-bet you some garbage. That's my pick today. We can see that Alex Ponikov's like, I know about Bruno Volkmann. I took position on him. So he had a choice between Bruno Volkmann or Justin Bonomo, and he chose Bruno Volkmann to take position on.
Well, Bruno Volkmann is second in chips, and Justin Bonomo is third in chips. So he's kind of just following.
Look at this by 30,000 chips. Come on.
But still, numbers are numbers, Nananaka. You got to go with the little edges here. All right, a shorter stack is actually going to go all in the very first hand. 3 big blinds.
Wow.
And Baby Go actually has a decision here, believe it or not.
Yeah.
His Queen 3 offsuit is not a very pleasant hand to call any sort of a shove with, even if it's only 3 bigs.
Exactly. And also Baby Girl's got 17 big blinds to start the hand. Obviously the bigger stack I still think you got to call up the Queen 3 offsuit. You still got enough equity, you got the odds. But man, imagine if you're like Alex Foxing or Dario Sammartino with this decision. It'd be very, very tough. He does make the call, and we got a coin flip.
So far, we have a set. I was like, so far the deuces are still good. They're more than good. Sammy just needs to avoid a 4 on the river. Nah, too many pips. 4s only have 2 pips, right? So yes, well done. Our shorter stack doubles up. Sammy still has plenty of work to do tonight, because now we go from, I think, 3 big blinds to 7 big blinds. But hey, that's a start for Lars Lusak.
Well, the Dario Sammartino and Alex Fox, they understand that pay jumps are important. They're like, oh my God, I can't believe this deuce has had a flip and still won the hand. Look at Ponikov's open up Queen 5 offsuit. It's a different player here today, because usually he comes in as a short stack. He's the chip lead, and he knows to put on that pressure. And pressure is very high right now because there's 3 guys with 6 to 7 big blinds. Timothy Adams is not going to defend anything unless it's a pretty good hand. And pretty much everyone is. So I wonder if it folds to Alex Ponikov's. He's going to open 10 deuce offsuit, because that'd be. I don't know if he is, because because I'm like, Justin Bonomo on the big blinds is going to fold. Look at this. Sammartino is going to take 6 big blinds from your guy real soon.
That's what you say, but I didn't really see a whole lot of hearts around the table, okay? So I feel like Justin Bonomo is just casually going to flop the flush here, or at least the flush draw. Aces versus ace-8, guys. This was inevitable. We are going to get it in. A 7 for Justin Bonomo. That was so close, but it's not a 7 yet. We need a 7 and a 7 only.
It's coming. Is it coming?
Yes.
It could be.
Oh my God. Justin Bonomo just knows how to win tournaments. That is absolutely brutal for the runner-up of the World Series of Poker 2019 main event. Dario Sammartino goes out in 9th place after his aces gets cracked by Justin Bonomo.
What? Dude, you bless Justin Bonomo. Justin Bonomo, he's an amazing player, but my God, he can be so lucky sometimes, can't he?
We could actually see our first little battle here between your guy and my guy. As Justin makes the
battle.
call with Queen 10 suited. Alex Foxen gets out of the way, folded a 9, by the way.
Dario Sammartino is confirmed salty or what? Because you keep saying he's not salty. Man, this guy is getting he's salty for sure. Onto this hand, Volkmann's going to c-bet. Bonomo's got a bunch of backdoor draws you like, but he is out of position. He is from the small blind, so that's why he's not going to continue.
Yep. This is one of these moments where if you know what we know, be like, you can definitely peel one off, see what the river brings. Could pick up a lot of extra equity, but It's obviously very scary because he's got absolutely no idea what he's going up against there. I don't really mind him getting out of the way, you know. You just started your final table, you picked up 6 bigs. It's all good, Nananaka. You don't need to win the tournament right now. You can win it slowly but steady down the line.
I can't believe Dario busted first with 2 aces before the other two. How salty would you be? And then
I'd be
he waits
pissed.
a whole he waits a whole day to play too. And he's probably thinking, I can't believe this luck box Justin Bonomo does it again. Oh my gosh.
I feel like every professional poker player in the world is very worried in all-in scenarios when either
Ooh.
Fedor or Justin calls them because you just know that they run pretty good and it's always scary, even if you get it in with aces.
All right, so Mistakowski is actually in a tough spot. Ponika's been open a bunch already. He is going to lay down 2 9s. Thank God, because he would have been out of this tournament before 2 short stacks. There's a bunch of ICM pressure. Even a hand like 2 9 normally would be a reshove in that spot. But when you see guys with 4 and 5 big blinds, you got to tighten your ranges. So that's why he lays it down. Alex Foxen's thinking, okay, is the king queen good enough to jam here? He thinks it's not.
I gotta say, I wouldn't have minded if he decided to go for it there with 4.3 big blinds, just because obviously that's the chip leader who's opening. And sure, it's an under the gun open, but it's still the chip leader who is probably opening pretty wide. So there is a chance that your king queen does pretty good there, right?
I wouldn't fault the king queen have gone. You want to go against the guy who is the chip lead. But we did just start this final table, so he's not 100% sure that Alex Ponikav is opening like queen 5 offsuit and things like this. You see Misakowski just jammed the 2 jacks because he's like, look, just shut out his opponents, try to get him to fold. 2 aces for baby girl.
I want to satellite player that's still in the event. 12 bigs seems like a pretty straightforward shove. I mean, oh, go for the min raise. Okay, the under the gun min raise.
Try to look as strong as possible. This looks like aces. You know what?
Yeah,
it is pocket aces.
I mean, it sucks, right? Because if you shove and everybody just folds, you're like, damn it, I really wish I would have just picked up a few more chips with my aces. But if you then min raise a short stack under the gun, it's like, well, you're not doing that with Jack 6 offsuit, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's going to look strong no matter what. Let's see. Maybe Sammy shoves and Alex gets it in. That's the situation. I'm not sure how Sammy plays the situation of 5 big blinds, queen 9 suited. Maybe he folds thinking Alex Foxen's first one up coming to the big blind. If Alex Foxen wasn't in this tournament with that stack size, he definitely would be shoving. He's still going to shove in. Could be out next.
Yep. Alex is going to reshove, and that means that Baby Girl will get out of the way as well with their ace-8 offsuit. And let's see if Sammy can get another double up. We went from 3 to 7 big blinds. Can we get to 12? We need a queen or a 9. We still need a queen or a 9, or it is all over for Sammy. Nope, that's an ace.
There's a reason why I didn't hype him up too much in our profile page. I said he only has 3.3 big blinds. I would love to see get some chip stack, but no more. Lars Luzak, 2 gone already. We got 1 more to eliminate real quick.
Well, Lars did ladder up for 15K. I mean, with 3 big blinds, that is something. Yeah. Let's hope we see him back again in a couple of weeks with hopefully a proper stack, right? Like 20, 25 bigs. I think that would be a lot of fun. Alex Foxen decides to pretty much go for it now as there is no other like super clear, obvious short stack. He's going to go for it with the king 4. And David Misakowski is absolutely going to shove the jacks. Now, Baby Girl is not a little decision, but we'll get out of the way with the 6s.
So is this the 3rd elimination coming up? We'll see. He needs to hit that king.
I've got a feeling we see a king.
Ooh. No, I do not.
One time, Alex Foxen. Yes, just one time, as Alex Foxen is spamming as well. Gets the 4, does not get the king, and that is going to do it for the last remaining short stack. That didn't take very long, guys. 10 minutes, and we are down to 6. Now, sure, Baby Girl is a little bit short, but I'd say let's play some proper poker, Nananoko.
And this is quick, because sometimes it takes us like half an hour to eliminate these little bugs, these little ticks we can't get rid of. But this is nice, because we're also playing 6-handed. That's when the player aggressions are much more important, because blinds, of course, come around a lot quicker. We're going to see those blind levels also go up quicker. This could be a quick final table, especially if these rocket players right here, Bruno's opening king 9 suited under gun. He's like, you know what? I don't care. I'm Bruno Volkman. Still gonna open this under the gun. We're gonna wait for Misakowski to reconnect for 2 more seconds. Looks like he's gone. So Misakowski's. I got 3 pay jumps. I'm just gonna leave.
He's like, let's just see if I sit out for a couple of hands. Maybe I'll come back and I'm top 4. That'd be pretty good. Let's see what Justin Bonema decides to do. Makes the call with the 4-3 suited. Doesn't really flop a whole lot though.
Well, Volkman should be just firing this flop. His opponents just can't hit much besides like a 7. And knowing Volkman, he's the betting type, so I would be very shocked if he doesn't c-bet this flop. Oh, wow. Okay, I'm very shocked. And he lets the opponent catch a pair, but he does pick a flush draw.
This is one of these hands that could get silly for absolutely no reason.
Yeah, exactly. Volkman's the type to potentially raise the turn. I don't know if he will, though, because he's kind of not representing much. He kind of blows up the pot. Maybe his opponent does have a 7 and he has to pay a huge price. I think calling would be the standard. I'm just wondering why he didn't c-bet the flop. I'm thinking Bruno Volkman's thinking, I'm up against Justin Bonemo shaking things up. He's like, you always think this guy's up to no good, and that's why he lets the opponent pick up a pair. He is going to go for the raise, though, and this is Bruno Volkman being Bruno Volkman, but it's a scary raise to make because your opponent could play back at this.
Yep. Like this, it gets really sad. Like imagine a world. I don't think it's gonna happen. As Justin Bonema just makes the call and actually dodges all the scary cards on the river, it's gotta be feeling pretty damn good about his powers of force. Let's see what Bruno does decide to do here, though. He's now invested a whole lot. He will give up. Maybe worried that Justin does indeed have a 7 and he will never go anywhere. But the 4 in the end is good. Nanonoko, I believe that's 1 for Roddy, 0 for you, my friend.
I don't know if Bonemo is going to be. I need Alex Ponakov to take him out because Bonemo is he's playing great already. That 4-3 suited was a very nice hand. He was like, there's no way you check back a 7 on that flop or an overpair and then just start like raising the turn. It was a very good read to bet call that turn card. But after Bonemo dusted Dario Sammartino with the ace 8 suited against a 2 aces, I mean, we don't see that too often. This guy's the heater's already started.
I've got a question for you. Isn't it scary to raise your flush draw there on the turn? Like Bruno put in 340k extra, but imagine if Justin comes over the top and just pushes all in. It feels like you could have seen a river card, but then you don't, and that's kind of sad, no?
Yeah, that's why personally I don't like raising the turn there. I don't like checking the flop to raise that turn because your opponent actually could have a 7. They could repop it, and then you're kind of like paying way more or maybe not even being able to see a river card with a hand that can clearly make the best hand, like a king high flush draw. You hit that flush, you're probably good. Maybe even a king is good sometimes. So not a fan of the play, but Volkman's got his own style. We know he plays very crazy. So you got to be just ready for these different kind of moves.
Look at this, baby girl, putting in a little bet there, a little over a big blind, and actually take it down. That is very well done by baby girl 21. Just betting 130k to take down the 500k that was in the middle with the ace 10, getting David Misakowski to fold the ace jack. Very well done.
It's well done because, baby girl did raise that aces right under the gun. So raise the ace 10, looks like aces too, and the bet sizing does match up. So that's why how he got the better hand to fold. Alex Ponakov's 8-5 suited. I would like to see baby girl reshove 16 big blinds with ace 9. The hand it doesn't really flop that great. So you're better off just taking a pre-flop equity. The hand is just too often the best. We would really like to see a reshove from our satellite winner.
It's always scary because it's still your tournament life, and obviously you don't want to be snap called by an ace jack or an ace queen, and then you're like, damn it, there was potential for so much more. This baby girl, I think, is already pretty satisfied. I mean, up to this point, won 150k over a GG. Tonight, we've already won 117. We will get the 3-bet. It's not a shove, but it's kind of odd sizing, though. I almost feel like Alex will always call here.
Yeah, but Alex's hand is tough to play against a 15 big blind, and you don't know much about baby girl. It's just there's not much effective stack size to play against. If baby girl had more chips, then it's quite different. You are getting good odds, but it seems fine to kind of figure out because we've only been playing for 15 minutes. You don't know what baby girl has in that spot. 2 queens easy open. Adams got 7-5 suited. Very reasonable hand to see a flop with.
Yep. I would definitely throw in a big blind there. Even though Timothy Adams obviously only had 16 to start the hand, I do think it's worth paying the 100K here to play for 525. 7-5 suited can absolutely flop pretty decent. And I'd say that's a pretty decent flop. But obviously the queens won't go anywhere either.
This is a check raise all in. You got 14 big blinds. I don't really see any other move besides just check raise all in. Of course, Alex is going to bet and just try to get this in. This is a dream scenario.
Timothy's like, how much time do I take? You know, maybe like 5, 4, 3, 2.
It's about
1.
time. Boom.
All in.
Ship it in. Oh, not quite. You got to work on your timing, Roddy, a little bit more. There it is.
I just haven't played too many hands with Timothy Adams yet, Nano, forgive me. 53% against 46. Let's see if the queens can hold. We need a 6 or a heart on the river for Timothy Adams. Otherwise, he is out.
Done.
That's not a 6.
He's over.
That is not a heart either. We are down to 5. Are we speedrunning this final table tonight? Jeez Louise. That's a shame for Timothy Adams. Obviously, such a big flop. Yeah,
I'm just wondering, do we make it to the second break in this tournament? This is the fastest we've seen to get to 5-handed ever. And with these guys, it wouldn't surprise me if more people are going to get eliminated soon.
Nananoka, what I'm wondering is if we make it to the first break. If you guys wonder how come we're losing players so quick and we had so many short stacks, if you take a look at the top left side, you guys can always see what level we're at. Level 34 already. Now, normally we make level 34 when we have been live for like 90 minutes or like 120 minutes almost. So I think what just happened on the Sunday night is that nobody wanted to miss out on the final table. And these guys just played way deeper than they normally do. And that's why we had a couple of very short stacks coming into this final table.
Very, very true. And Volkman, let's get a couple big blinds back from bottom. Let's rejam this ace jack. We know Volkman's not scared. And but right now things are looking like the way they should be, right? Short stacks busting quickly. Bonomo luck boxing. Chip leader winning chips. Everything's in line. Volkman bluffing off chips. Everything is what it's supposed to happen.
I'm kind of invested in the story of will Baby Girl 21 win more money today than they did so far in their entire GGPoker career. I think that's always a fun statistics. One more pay jump than Anako, and Baby Girl has done it.
It's possible. It's a bit of a coin flip with David Mitsikowski. David Mitsikowski, actually, I think this is his best performance at our final table so far. I think his best was 6th place or so before, or it wasn't too good. So, you know, he's in a little run to make some monies. 10 deuce suited, 7th place. Okay, so, but, you know, 145K, it's pretty sweet so far. Ace Jack going to get that reshove in on Alex Ponikov's.
We saw the 3-bet with the ace-9, but ace-jack is just going to get it all in there. And Baby Girl just casually chipping up, now over 2 million. Love to see it. Our satellite winner. Bruno Volkman could be in a... Okay, I wouldn't say could be in a little bit of trouble here, because I feel that Bruno Volkman plays hands like Jack-10, like they're aces, but he would have been in trouble here, but he folds this time.
I think Volkman's like a little bit afraid of Ponikov's right now. It's just... And the big blind of Justin Bonomo, who likes to defend a little bit more. He understands that he is aggressive, but he understands the situation. He can't be recklessly aggressive because Ponikov is going to 3-bet him, and he's just going to have to fold some chips. Right now, it's a bit of you still got to be cautious. Wait till you get a little bit more chips. This is a spot. I do feel like Volkman's going to put some pressure on pre-flop with the ace-5 suited, but we'll see. He's got a funny stack size of 26 big blinds, where I say your rejam get called, it seems like a punt, but in rejamming works. So it is going to play cautiously and works out for Bonomo again.
Yep, Bonomo flops bottom pair and obviously picks up the gut shot as well. Bruno doesn't really have a whole lot going for himself other than a couple of backdoors.
I do want to ask, who was your second pick if I did pick Bonomo?
Bruno Volkman.
It was.
I mean, it was a bit hard to pick any of the bottom 3 because they just didn't have enough, right? Alex, ooh, 6 of spades on the turn. This could actually turn into something fun right now. But yeah, Alex Foxen was just a bit too short. I felt that Timothy Adams was a bit short. Obviously, we didn't know anything about Baby Girl, so I didn't know about Alex Ponakovs because we've only ever seen him as a super short stack. So it was going to be between Justin and Bruno for me.
Well, it's Volkman's aggressive on that flop, and he didn't have anything, but now he's turned to flush draw. He's gonna think he's got a well. Volkman's a new player today. I'm surprised Volkman didn't keep firing that turn card. And I actually think normally people would bet the ace five when they bet that flop. They're gonna bet that turn card, but this run out, I don't really see how Volkman can start firing now. He knows his lines have been a little bit funny, so he's getting looked up.
I don't think it's just that, man. It's also just the aura that's around Justin Bonomo. The man always has it. It's like you don't want to be that guy that's betting into the queen 10 of Justin Bonomo there, and he's got you drawing semi-dead. It's like he's like, no, not me.
It's funny because that aura really is a big thing. It makes some of the really strong players play a little differently sometimes. You're like, oh man, he knows all these things. He's going to be aggressive against me, and that's what having a good reputation is important. You pick up some extra spots that you don't normally get. Some extra folds, some extra, funny lines. Funny things happen. Like Phil Ivey, obviously the one big one where people are like, okay, he's going to 3-bet me, so they just start folding a bit more, so he gets to open more buttons and stuff like this. So yeah.
Let's see what Baby Girl decides to do here. King Jack offsuit. These are funny hands when you're 5-handed. You don't want to fold everything, but it's also a hand that you don't want to open. And then if you get 3-bet, you pretty much have to fold it. But Baby Girl decides to show no fear. We'll go for the open. I think that David Misakowski is just going to let this one go. Our satellite player is making a very solid impression so far in Nanonoko, not playing too scared at all.
A satellite player also doubled the guaranteed earnings ever since his final table started, right? So in a good spot. Ponakov's ace deuce suited. We'll see how feisty he is, because he might, if he reshoves this one, then he's definitely putting that final table pressure on. He is going to reshove. Wow, very nicely done.
Gets David Misakowski to fold the better suited ace. Picks it up. Alex is having one hell of a final table so far. It's not mind-blowing poker where we're like, oh my god, this is so sick. But he's just cruising right now, man. He's like, yeah, I got it in with queens. Picked up a few extra chips. Short stacks are gone. Guaranteed top 5. Just kind of doing his thing, but very casually still in a commanding lead to potentially take this tournament on.
Yeah, and Ponakovs is the guy who's always selling action into his tournaments. He has 3 final tables, so you definitely should buy his action next time. He knows how to play as a big stack too, because we've seen him opening some garbage hands. He understands. He's just a big tournament grinder. So he's not a big name like Justin Bonomo, but he's very good, and he's got the chip lead. So he is, even though Justin Bonomo is there, he is still the favorite right now with 2-1 lead on the second place guy.
Just hope that Justin doesn't think that he can also take this spot down, because Baby Girl has it all. Top pair, now bottom pair, and the nut flush draw. Not even Justin Bonomo is going to win this hand.
Yeah, it's just not possible. Baby Girl try to lay the trap too on the flop. Did you see on the turn? It's like, oh man, wow, this Baby Girl is sneaky. Check again, trying to bait the Justin Bonomo. Bonomo's got queen high, trying to think, can he show? Oh, free chips. You get a little bit of chips here.
Maybe 1 big blind or 1-5.
Yeah, I would love to see Baby Girl stab at some point. Doesn't seem like they're going to try and bluff, but I think Bonomo might take the bait and just throw a big blind out there. Try to get called by like a 9. You would expect your opponent to bet an ace by now.
Ooh. It's even more than that. It's 2 big blinds. Baby Girl obviously going to raise here. It's going to try to feel like, what does Justin Bonomo have they could potentially call a raise with? Well, the answer is probably nothing. I don't believe that Justin is going to fall for it.
I mean, Bonomo doesn't know much about Baby Girl, but yeah, this line it does look funny. So I do think Bonomo's going to think about it. But I don't know. Well, I don't know if Bonomo knows much about this satellite player, but this looks fishy, but it looks strong too. It's a very funny. It's a weird line. He makes the call. Bonomo just like, this line is so crazy. I don't know what you got. I saw Volkman take a funny line and Baby Girl paid off.
Man, Baby Girl up to 3.2 million right now. Justin Bonomo falls back to 3.3. And if this goes fold, and Bonomo makes a move on Bruno Volkman, actually he could be in all sorts of trouble. Well, we know that Baby Girl's not afraid to open. We saw the King Jack open offsuit under the gun. Let's see if King 9 offsuit is an open for Baby Girl as well on the button.
Yeah, wow, that was a big call, and looks like Baby Girl does say Bonomo here. Right, Bonomo would definitely jammed into Volkman.
You know, Nananoka, I've got a really cool announcement in the break that I think you will particularly get very excited over because you missed our little pre-show chat, but I've got something cool.
All right. We got to share at the break. We can't share it ahead of time.
Well, maybe if there's like no action at all, we can talk about it a little bit. But there is a new cool future coming to GGPoker, and I think you will be pretty excited over this one. I think you'd love it.
Oh God, now I want to know what it is. Can't you, you're teasing us. You're teasing us so bad, right? A new feature, because I don't know how much better you can get than the emojis, the snap cam, and, you know, all sorts of funny stuff like a final table switching. What else can? There's nothing else to do, Robbie.
It is related to final tables, and it is something that we're going to test first at the High Roller Super Millions.
Well, a new commentator.
Well, I'm pretty sure you'll get one of those eventually. Oh no, Baby Girl makes the shove, by the way.
Wow!
With the King 9 offsuit. Bruno Volkman is obviously going to make the call with the Ace Queen suited. How the hell did we have 3.8 million chips getting in here? Oh no, Baby Girl, that's a little bit of a punt.
That is a huge punt. Because Volkman was playing pretty shallow there, right? I don't think Volkman's 3-betting the fold with that stack size too often, although it's capable. We have seen people 3-bet and fold, but I don't know. That's a little bit of a punt from Baby Girl. I guess Baby Girl plays better with the, you know, the 10 to 15 big blind stack. I don't know what Baby Girl. Come on, you satellite it in, but you're playing like you're playing like a $5 sitting go on that move. What was that move? Oh, come on.
To be fair, Baby Girl played really solid up to that hand. That was just, I don't know. Sometimes we get a little excited, you know. You come in as a short stack, you hope to lather up a little bit. Baby Girl was lathering up, and then you start taking down pots as well. You make a cool play against Justin Bonomo, of all people, on the river with a sneaky check raise, get paid off. Yeah,
I think Bonomo gives Baby Girl action because of that last hand. So Baby Girl is going to get right back in it. With this ace queen suited your guy, he's just losing chips. What about ever since that queen 4 call, right?
Well, this is where we spike a king. This is where we spike a king because Justin Bonomo just runs good in spots like this. Justin Bonomo is at risk for a lot of his chips. Obviously, Baby Girl's 2 midlife is on the line. We need a king or a jack on the river. A king or a jack. King for top pair, jack to make a straight. An ace is not going to do it. So Justin Bonomo falls down to 1.9 million, and Baby goes just back up to 3 million. Like that King 9 hand never even happened.
Yeah, I mean, could have more chips though, but you gotta be feeling a little sad, right? Because Bonomo, you're thinking, oh man, I made such a good pick. He's down to 2 million in chips. Hey, I just want to remind you, Roddy, you had first choice. I didn't pick first. You had the choice. You could have picked anyone else.
Mate, he's still in it. I'm not too worried. No, he's in a little bit of trouble, but he's not in that much trouble yet. We'll see. Don't get too happy with Bruno Volkman. We know what Bruno is capable of. Like, sure, he could be at 8 million chips in 3 hands, but he could also be Busto before Baby Girl, so.
Okay, so Misakowski's going to shove ace-6 here. Ooh, 11 big blinds. I think you make the call. You're not loving it, but you know Misakowski's shoving like a bunch of like King X's, some Queen X suited. Yeah.
And these are really tough spots where the thing is, even if you're ahead, how far ahead are you really? Right? Most of the time, I feel like the best thing you can hope for is that you're 58, 60%. Apparently, the call was made as we had a little bit of lag on the feet, and Baby Girl will not get there because there is paint on the river. And that means that David Misakowski is going to be the one to double up. And Baby Girl is right back to 1.5 million, just riding the roller coaster over here.
Yeah, I don't mind a call to ace-6 there. I mean, I'd rather do that than the King 9 type play, in my opinion. But yeah. Whew. All right, 2 9s. Well, so Misakowski reshove's definitely very profitable. 25 big blind reshove. Just trying to think if Misakowski's the type to maybe call because he's thinking the other 2 guys are a little short. Is going to go for rejam. I like it. Keep chipping up. It's free chips.
Well done. I mean, David, all of a sudden, sitting comfortably in a shared second place. Justin Bonomo picks up queens. The sad news is that nobody else really has anything, but I was like, maybe Baby Go gets a little adventurous with the 7-5 offsuit. Who knows?
I
Oh,
do
yeah.
think Bonomo is going to limp here with the 2 queens. Try to trap Volkman. With this stack size, it's pretty shallow where you can still... Oh, it's going to go for the raise. I would have thought Bonomo might have go for the limp jam. You know, a lot of benefits. But, you know, Bonomo finding a way to win the least amount of chips. But no, just kidding. I think, of course, the way he plays is just fine with that hand. All right,
I mean, this is one of these spots where you're praying that Bruno has a somewhat decent hand, because then Bruno will think like, this is Justin Bonomo. He's trying to get a couple big blinds back. He could potentially put in a little 3-bet there, and then all of a sudden the pot gets big. Didn't happen. David Misakowski opening up Jack 10 suited under the gun. A beautiful hand. You said this is everybody's favorite hand. It is my favorite hand. But he's in a bit of trouble here as Bruno Volkman has ace queen offsuit.
Well, so it's the hand you always say is going to try to win this tournament, right? Because they got that giveaway, pick the winner. I think that still going on, or?
Yes, I mean, at least it was last week. Let's take a look, actually. I didn't get many notifications. Let's see if the guess the winning hand contest is still going strong. I didn't get any updates of it today, so maybe it's not. Or they just didn't tag me. Take a look.
Just like we're done tagging and giving us 100 notifications. Miskowski did fold the Jack 10 suited to the 3-bet, so you can see Miskowski trying to ladder up when he's like, this is my best performance so far. Let's not screw it up. Ponikov's should open, but what are you gonna say?
Yes, that hit the jackpot tonight is still going on. All you have to do is guess the whole cards of the winning hand, and then you'll win the cash. Jackpot is apparently $2,400 at this point. Oh my goodness, is on Twitter. So we'll keep a close eye on that. Good luck to everybody that has participated.
So from what I understand is every time no one picks it correctly, we just add the prize pool to the next prize pool. Is that how it works?
I guess because I know it was $600 at one point. So maybe this is now 4 weeks in of nobody guessing the winning hand. Oh, that's crazy. I'm going to start participating.
Yeah. Now it's worth your 7 characters, right? You're like 600, not enough. 1,200, not enough. But 24, it's going to be 3K if no one picks it this time. Ace 7. What do you think? I think maybe
I think you call. I think you call.
It's not easy though. What Baby Girl needs to think about though is what Alex is shoving here. Because Misakowski isn't that short, I don't think Alex is shoving like ace 2 offsuit or something, you know? So that's what Baby Girl's thinking. Lays it down. I wouldn't fault the call, of course, but Misakowski being almost 30 big blinds does change things a little bit.
It does, but then again, what hands can David Misakowski really call that shove with when Baby Go and Justin Bonomo are somewhat short?
I mean, it's true. I'm just saying it's not shoving like King 5 offsuit on the button. He's going to go for the min raise.
King 10 offsuit. You know, it's not that much better. It's a little better, but no, I think this is one of these moments where Alex is like, David, you can only call with like the absolute top of your range because, the ICM pressure here is just simply too much. Justin Bonomo is going to go for the reshove, though. The ace-8 suited. He does not believe what Alex Ponikovs is doing over here. And he picks up a couple of extra big blinds. Well done by Justin.
Well, Ponikov has been opening a bunch. It doesn't seem like he's getting it through a lot, but it's okay. As long as you raise to 240K, you pick up a blind, and you raise, and it doesn't work next time. You're still profiting from the antes, so something to think about. You got Volkman to fold the 9-8 offsuit, so you definitely should still be opening. If people who are playing, they're folding the big blind because there's a short stack out there. Oh no, Bonomo is out. He's out, right? Because look, what does Volkman have? He's got 1-9.
Well, we made a straight earlier with ace-8, so I don't see why we can't make a straight with 9s. A good old 6, 7, 8, and then a 10 on the turn. Yeah, Justin Bonomo is in all sorts of trouble here, guys. Alex Ponikov, the man who's playing every single hand, 42% VPIP, at this point is now sitting on pocket kings. Justin Bonomo just won't fold 9s here. I don't see that.
Ponikov is thinking, okay, do I go for the small 3-bet? Do I go for an all-in play? Go for this trap? What? Oh, the trap just traps the 2 kings. But on this board, Bonomo's still going to lose a good amount of chips here. But Bonomo is lucky, right? He could have easily stacked off here. But I don't actually like the slow play a little bit, though.
But I think he will still stack off. Like, he's not going to put Alex Ponikov on quads.
Yeah, they're not going to put each other on quads.
Yeah.
It's in their
So
mind. It is possible they both have like someone has an ace. So do we see
this
like
is
there could be some checking? It depends. Because Bonomo might be thinking, okay, I bet the flop, and if I bet the turn and get called again, what worse hand calls? I don't know. Bono might be savvy enough to realize that a lower pocket pair, which is what he would want to get value from, three streets, would just
mhm.
reshove on him a lot pre-flop. So maybe he goes for like a safe check on one of these streets and not lose all of his chips. It's
It would be
possible.
the it would be the correct decision, but I don't think it's gonna happen. I think that Justin just looks at this. He's like, that is a pretty good board for my nines. I feel like what could have saved him is an ace king queen, ace king jack kind of board, or at least two overs. I think that'd be proper scary. But the trip aces, I just don't think it's gonna slow him down enough.
How Ponikov's just like, I was gonna just ship it in. No, but I like the call here. Trap your opponent. Your opponent might just try to represent that quad aces a lot, you know? So let's see. Can Bonomo save himself? Is
Yes,
going
he
to save
can.
himself.
Okay, on the river. That is a really good check back because I think I mean I think I'd probably just go for it, man. It's like I think you don't have quads. It's like my nines are good. This is a proper full house. Both players flopping the boat there, but obviously the kings of Alex Ponikov's stayed good till the very end. But Justin Bonomo is still alive, but he is starting to get into pretty dangerous territory as he falls down to 12, 13 big blinds. It's not pretty.
I would say this is a free life because Bonomo could easily be out of this tournament, whether
Mhm.
it's post flop or pre flop in that hand. I do like the check though, the two nines. It just isn't so hard to get called by worse. It's like, okay, my opponent obviously doesn't have a deuce or four. A smaller pocket pair like eight sevens, they would reshove on me. I like
What
to
about
play. It
like
kind of
hands like the not nothing, like a king queen, a king jack? Like
Yeah, but
that's pretty good.
you beat those hands. But the thing is, you gotta think: is the nut nothing? The king queen check calling a bet shove? I don't know. Like they will call you down for a flop and turn, but you know the river card is they're like, okay, if you still pulling a bluff for this far, then you deserve it.
All right, got a quick update as Alex Ponakov has ace queen and should be able to just get this one through. We've got a free roll starting over at the GG Poker client. Starts in 9 minutes. The password is a super with a capital S. So just super, I guess. Part of the high roll is super millions. We're giving away five $25 GG Masters daily tickets. So enjoy. If you've
Oh,
got the client
oh.
open, feel like playing a little free roll, go for it. As you say, oh, Bruno Vogtman, is he in trouble?
Well, he's I wouldn't say trouble because he is ahead, but he's going to get some action from Baby Girl. Alex Ponikovs though, he looks like wants to put in the three bet. So okay, could have got a little bit dicey there. Misakowski, Queen Jack suited, probably going to lay it down as well. Baby Girl and Volkman going to war soon. In 3, 2,
2, 1. Clock
blast
starts
off.
ticking. Baby girl is gonna get it all into the middle with ace king. And the tens always lose for me, Nanonoko. I actually lost in the beat the pros last Saturday. Pocket tens let me down for
Why? Why
80
would you
bigs
say this now? Why would you say this
because
now?
baby girl
Oh
needs some
God,
run good. Oh, but there are diamonds though. The diamonds are live. And a
never
10.
mind.
That is going to do it. Bruno Vogtman picks up the 2.2 million chips. The tens treat him a lot better than they do me. And that is the end of Baby Girl. Does not win more than they did on their entire career so far up to this final table, but very close. Came in with $155,000 of winnings and won $145,000 tonight. So I think still a pretty good night at the office for Baby Girl.
Definitely. My guy's chipping up. Man, you had a choice. You had a choice, but I don't know. Alex Ponikov's been playing pretty good. He does
Yeah.
seem like in position to take this one down. Bottom King 7 suited, 11 big blinds, thinking about shoving this hand. Just going to lay it down. I would like to see Ponikov's raise into Misakowski. Misakowski's been trying to ladder up real hard, which is fine with his stack size and given situation. I think Ponikov's got a lot of extra fold equity right now. I know 4-3 off is not a good hand, but given how Misakowski's been playing so far, I think it's the right play.
Just one more heads up, guys. In 5 minutes, there is a free roll starting to win five $25 tickets. Password is a super with a capital S. Good luck and fun if you will play. Oh my God, what a flop for David. This casually flops the second nizzles, as Kakiti would say.
The nizzle, is that what he says?
Yeah, he says all these like he's got all sorts of funny words for like the nuts, the nizzles, the nizzies, and I don't know. I love listening to Kakati. That guy is very outspoken and a very confident individual. I like how
Yeah.
he just always sits there with a stone cold face and calls everything garbage. He's like, just don't like that guy. Don't like the guy. Don't like that play. I'm like, man, I'm just sitting at home, like watching on my phone. I'm just laughing at all the things that
What
Kakati says all night long.
That's what makes him fun to watch, right? Because at first you're like, wow, this guy is just raw. I remember listening to one where he's like, yeah, Daniel's probably better than me. Heads up, but you give me 1 week, I'll be better
Yeah.
than him.
Yeah. But then I also like how they have Daniel on. Like, if you guys watch the Daniel versus Dog Heads Up Challenge, at the end of every show, if you're watching it on the GG Poker, of course, on YouTube channel, they always have a little call with Daniel. And then Kakiti is there as well. Kakiti is like, Daniel, by the way, I want to give you a heads up. I was kind of trashing you tonight, man. And then it's like, why? Like, did you think I was playing bad? He's like, no, not really. I was just kind of going for the whole fish against Will kind of thing. And Daniel's like, all right. He's like, yeah, I just wanted you to know. I'm not doing it behind your back. I was like, oh, so funny.
Yeah, I wish Daniel's like, man, who is this guy? I've never heard of this guy. He's just trashing me throughout the show. But
Nah, Daniel has
that
been very nice, actually. He said that he's also been going over some of the VODs and he's been more listening to some of the things that Kakiti said about certain hands and certain spots. So it's been pretty wholesome.
all right, let's see. Ace Queen for the second place guy. I'm curious to see how Bruno Volkman plays this pre-flop. A lot of guys actually would just call here pre because Bonomo's got 10 big blinds. It looks like he's going to do the same. It's not that Volkman thinks he's behind, but it's a bit of a safety just in case, Ponikov does wake up with a big hand.
Let's see what a chip leader decides to do here. These kinds of boards, I think, are always a bit too scary when you're sitting on a hand like ace deuce, right? You couldn't be further away from the action in the middle. When you're like, well, I am the chip leader. Let's put in a big blind and let's just see what happens. And Alex Ponikov takes another one down. The rich get richer over here, Nana.
That's a hard board to see bet with the ace deuce offsuit against the big blind. The big blind couldn't continue a lot, but gets it done. And, Volkman, has to lay down that ace queen. Misakowski just keeps disconnecting. Like, okay, but you know what? You're getting pay jumps. Just play tight. Just let Bonomo, get it in before you. Wow. It's a
Poker
great
players have
time to have
made.
a potato internet, right?
I know. It just amazes me. It's like you've got 2 days to get ready for this. You're playing a final table with over $300,000 on top. You're like, you know what? We'll see if the Wi-Fi holds up, guys. I might miss a couple hands. What's the big deal? I'd be like, no. I would order 3 internet connections to the specific place that I'm staying to make sure that I have a backup and an extra backup. If you make one page jump, that was already a good investment.
Well, I mean, it doesn't matter. It's definitely worth it for sure. It's pretty funny. I'm just imagining like a potato. He's like connecting his wires to it. Like, why doesn't this potato work?
No, I've seen like there were a couple of videos over the summer where obviously a lot of poker players were forced to play online. And then there's like moving to Mexico for a couple of weeks and they're sitting on their MacBook Wi-Fi and they're like, oh, I keep disconnecting. I'm like, plug in. I'm sitting at home and I'm screaming like, plug in a damn cable. Okay, you don't rely on Wi-Fi if you're playing for tens and thousands of dollars. Come on.
Exactly. Ponikov's just going for a 10 deuce offsuit here. But if throw out a bet, you're gonna win the spot, and it looks like it's gonna get it done. Man, when you're a chip leader, it's fun, right? You can just raise some garbage hands, just bet any flop literally, and they just keep folding to you still, despite you just having so much garbage.
Alex Ponikov is just having the time of his life so far tonight. It feels that he really hasn't been in any trouble, hasn't been in any very difficult spots, and he just kind of puts a little bit of pressure on, never overcommits, never gets too carried away. Just kind of picks up pot after pot. Obviously, he had a big victory with the Queens against the 5-7 of Timothy Adams, but other than that, Nano, this is straightforward poker, power poker, and yeah, he's just cruising, man.
Exactly, and people are busting at it while he's chipping up, which is always good. Misakowski gonna just lose. Man, I wonder if he's forced to call off here because Bonomo is so short.
He is. He's gonna make it 240. Bonomo is going to shove. He needs to put in 600K more with a suit and ace. Justin Bonomo. I'm going to go full Nananoka here. Are you ready? Justin Bonomo is back, baby. He chips up to 1.7 million before we've even seen any cards.
I mean, it's true though. It's more like 1.8 million coming up, but here we
2
go.
million even. Here we go. Need to avoid spades and threes. Oh, that's a pretty good flop. That's an even better turn. Just don't put a 10 out there. And if this is not a 10, that's not a 10. It's paint. This means that Justin Bonomo is back to 2 million. Man, going full Nananoko feels good, actually. Just calling all the action before anything happens.
I mean, what do you mean? Of course. I mean, you got the best hand. You're going to get a double up. This is just how poker works.
Yeah, sure. You know, as we have a couple of garbage hands here, I think that Alex will just take this one down. Bruno shouldn't get too crazy. Been watching a couple of your videos of shorthanders, like 6+ of the Triton series. It's been really fun to watch, Nananoka. You did a great job with those.
It does. Those are always fun. 6+ is it's a different game, but you know, it's craziness. Just pretty much craziness is the best way to explain short deck.
I've been enjoying this. Obviously, we offer that over at the GGPoker client as well as Alex just goes all in with the 7-6. You can't call this off at 8-6 suited, even if you
just
may
do
think
it.
Like
soul read. Just be like, I'm done. Baby girl might call this off.
You can do it.
Disconnect is a perfect.
Just disconnected again. Imagine if he like panically comes back and he actually misclicks and he calls and he's just completely dominating the shove of Alex Ponakov's, and that'd be the misclick of the day. But yeah, I've been really enjoying 6+, and obviously at GGPoker it is possible to play 6+ as well. Quite a few different stakes running, and actually a couple of I don't know. I always like the social interaction on the client as well. Maybe I'm a bit of a fish, you know, but I like it when people chat about certain hands or tournaments they've been watching. And I feel like I've been making friends at 6+ already. It's been a cool little community. It's very different than the rest of the No Limit community, where I feel like No Limit tournaments, people always get angry. They're like, oh my God, what a terrible move by you. But in 6+, they've been pretty chill.
Do they refer to a 6+ in GG, or is it more short, or is it called short deck in the lobby? I'm not sure.
I think it is. I mean, I can.
Usually we call it short deck. 6+ is a noob way to say it.
Okay.
A very noob way to say it, Roddy. You gotta get the lingo down.
Mate, I am a noob when it comes to 6+ or short deck. Okay, but we'll take a look.
I'll let you know though. The worst hand in that game is Jack 6 offsuit.
Yeah.
Okay, you know. You've been listening.
I've been listening. Been watching all the videos. I like how they're playing the Jack 6 offsuit game, like it is 7 deuce offsuit. Yeah, it's called just short deck. You're right, but there is a big 6+ graphic on the top of it. Okay, in the client.
Got it.
Short deck it is. No. Forgive me. I'm very new to that poker. Okay.
You're gonna be addicted. But back to the No Limit full deck. Let's see. Bruno's got the 6-4 suited. You know, Bruno's been quiet lately. I don't fault him, because look at those 2 short stacks out there. Like, you want to be aggressive, but you got to be careful. Wow, Queen 7 high just calling correctly.
I mean, in a way, that's a pretty good turn for Alex. He now has an open ender. Obviously, the spade outs are no good. I mean, he is still in the lead as well, but just queen high, which is also something. Bruno will keep betting, though. That's 200K. I feel like if you call on the flop, you definitely have to call on the turn here, right?
You got good odds. You got position, a draw to a straight, and Volkman hits a flush. Whew, good pick by Nano. Good pick.
That is a very unfortunate river card. One of the very first times tonight we're going to see our chip leader lose some chips. He's going to feel like that was the card he was looking for. We know it wasn't. That's obviously a very scary board, right? It's a paired board as well, so I don't think that Alex is ever going to get super crazy, but he will definitely call off a bet.
Should be a bet and a call. Volkman can go for a good amount of value. I guess he's going for a small
smart,
bet.
actually. I like it. Because that actually... Oh, and Alex just calls. I love that, though. I really love it from both. Because Bruno Volkman is like, if you made a straight or you've got trips, you're absolutely raising here. And then I can call that. But yeah, Alex is like, nope, I'm just calling with the straight. Well done.
Yeah, tried to bait his opponent. Didn't work. Misakowski, king 8 offsuit. I think it's a fold because Bottoml's still in. Even though Bottoml's got more chips, but I think, yeah, I don't know. It's maybe king 8 was a call. I don't know, but it's a tough. King 8 suited is definitely a call.
Yeah, it's just it's like, well, nobody really wants to go to the rails. Like, yeah, call the all in with king 8, and I was behind. It's like, that's not a good story. No, 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 go. Now the 8 is gonna be an easy shot for David, and he will pick this one up, so he gets some of his chips back.
I hope David buys a new internet connection with this 180K minimum he's guaranteed. That
You would think that it's possible that if you are playing a $10,000 tournament and there is 300K up top, that you can get a pretty good connection going. But hey, maybe it's bad weather where he lives. Maybe there's a thunderstorm going on right now. Who knows? Bruno Volkman with the all-in doesn't want to see Justin Bonomo limp anything. That's
but
the Bruno
you know what
love.
the truth is, if I was in a situation and I got to the final table with my current shitty internet, I would not want to change things and start changing my luck. So even if someone offered me free internet guaranteed to work, I'd be like, I can't, because it was the original internet connection that got me to the final table. I got to stick with it even with the disconnections. It's just my fishy superstitions, but that's how I would go about it.
I mean, I would probably take the good internet as long as it's a comfortable environment to play from. You know, like if there's 7 kids running around, I'll be like, no, okay, I'll stay in my grind room and I'll just play my poker from here. But and let's see what happens over here as Bruno Volkman raises from the small blind with the 8-6 suited. Alex, our chip leader, has ace-3 suited, puts in the 3-bet.
That's a nice read from Alex because, Bruno, he limped earlier, right? So him raising should look stronger because, Bruno limped with 6-4 suited and showed it down. But Alex is just like, you know what? Still going to put the pressure. I know you're aggressive. And this is fun. This is fun to watch. So you can see Bruno Volkman's like, all right, I'm out with king 9 offsuit on the button. That's a hand that he normally would raise.
I feel like if I was David Misakowski, it's really hard not to make this or let this get personal. Like, I know you should never let those emotions involve any sort of decision making. But when the chiblet was just shoving every single small blind into your big blind, I start growing a dislike for people real quick. Be like, come on, man. Why are you going to do me like that?
Well, Ponikovs is putting the pressure on. Just playing tournament poker perfectly right now.
He really is a brand new man, but yeah, there's a big difference between playing a final table with 8 or 9 big blinds or sitting on, I don't even know how many he has right now, 40, 50? Like, he's got a ridiculous amount.
Well, that's what makes Ponikovs even a better of a buy on his staking that he offers because he's clearly good at short stack and he knows how to play big stack well. Yeah, he's impressive, man. I know we're gonna just keep seeing him at final tables to come, and I know we haven't closed out this tournament yet, but we're down to 4, and I'm pretty sure I haven't taken a break yet, Roddy.
No, we haven't taken a break yet. We are getting very close to the first break. We're probably a minute away, and it's good to see that at least the tournament is still going. Because with the blinds as high as they were when we started this show, I was actually kind of worried that we could have potentially be truly speed running this entire thing. Justin Bonomo puts in the raise with the queen 10. Let's see what our chip leader does with ace-3. David Misakowski also sitting on the deuces, by the way. But
well, if Ponikovs can make this read to reshove the ace-3, this would be impressive. Wow, this is very nice. He's just like, Bonomo, you just min raise, huh? You think you got aces, but I got an ace blocker. I'm just gonna reshove on you. It just seems too suspicious for you to have. There's no way you have a good hand there. That's very nice.
We're going to shove the 7s as well. Easy game at this point. Life is good if you're Alex Ponikov at this point, as he is closing in at the 12 million mark chip count. And Bruno Volkman is in second with only 4 million.
Does Bonomo go with the ace-6 suited here,
Yes.
having seen how his opponent's been playing? He's got, what, 9 big blinds, 8 big blinds?
Justin is not afraid, man. This is where he takes a stand. Justin Bonomo will go all in, and the ace-6 will hold, and he will chip up to, what is it, 2.7 million?
Calling off this. Don't worry. Don't. You got a little bit ahead of yourself, okay? Bonomo had a little bit too many chips there. 1 extra big blind.
Now you know what it sounds like, Nananoka. That's what I always have to listen to, okay? All right, guys, we have made it to our first break. We apologize for the technical difficulties we had during the pre-show. We always go live 30 minutes before the final table starts. But yeah, it took us 10, 15 minutes to get the area sorted. But hopefully you guys are still having fun. Normally, Nanonoko is just off to the races, but this time he's sticking around. He's like, "You gotta share something, Ruddy." I'll share it after the break, Nanonoko. You just be patient for a couple minutes. Thanks everybody for tuning in, of course. Make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't done that yet. There's lots of coverage here, of course, of the Daniel and Doc heads-up battle that's currently happening as well. And on top of that, a lot of other giveaways and just cool shows heading your way. I know that Nanonoko will be cheating on me a few more times when he's commentating those Battle of Malta final tables. But yeah, as you guys can see, we've got 4 minutes. Stay tuned. I'll be right back. And then I'll talk about a brand new future that's coming your way over at GG. All right, guys, in 1 minute, we'll continue our coverage of the 24th final table of the High Roller Super Millions. I will wait until Nanonoko is back, until I share our new announcement. Hopefully you guys are having fun. I'm sure a lot of you guys are pretty excited about Guess the Winning Hand Twitter contest. Obviously, all you guys have to do is just follow GGPoker Official over at Twitter. And then you can guess the winning hand each and every single week. We are down to 4. Like I just said, Alex is our dominant chip leader. Nanonoko is back right now. We've got 40 seconds. So Nanonoko, what is going to happen, and this will be implemented actually already for the next week, is that GGPoker is teaming up with PokerShares. And with PokerShares, basically what's going to happen is that when there is a final table that is postponed till the next day, we're going to kick things off only at the High Roller Super Millions. You can open the lobby, and in the top right side, there will be a little graphic, and you can click on that, and then you can actually bet on the winner of the final table. So when the High Roller Super Millions is done on Sunday, you can go to the lobby of the High Roller Super Millions. You can open the final table, and then you can put in a little bet on who you think is going to take down the tournament on Tuesday. Poker shares will be making the odds, and yeah, it will be calculated, of course, based upon the amount of chips they have, etc., etc. But I think that's really fun.
That's really cool. Like now, when I saying, hey, I think Ponikov is a good buy, you can actually just buy that action, right? That's really cool. Okay. Well, we'll see you in action next week, you say.
Yeah. So basically, what you could do as well is the moment that we are down to 9 on the Sunday evening, well, Monday morning for you, you can take a look at the 9 players that are left, and then you can take a look at all the odds so that the remaining 9 players will have. And you can even give maybe your followers on Twitter some advice on who you think. So you can make your pick 2 days in advance, Nanonoko, but then you can't change anymore on the Tuesday evening.
Of course. So Bahanmo just got to walk with 2 10s. Sucks to be him, but because actually Volkman actually folded 2 4s because of how aggressive Ponikov's has been lately. Here looks like Volkman's got a great hand, but his opponents don't have much to really play with.
I hope Justin doesn't get crazy here. It feels like he needs to pick up a big blind. Don't do it, Justin. You don't have to win every big blind you can.
Gonna go for the limp, and Volkman is going to pump it up.
I'm really excited to see how it looks. I will definitely, I mean, this tournament runs still pretty late on the Sunday evening, but on Monday, I will absolutely open the final table. And there will just be a button on the top right side of this final table where it says final table betting. You click on it, and I think at that point, it's pretty straightforward. So we're going to kick things off only at the High Roller Super Millions, but obviously at different future final tables that have like a different starting day than when the action wraps up and we're down to 9. You guys should be able to do it as well if it's a success and everything works well. So it should be really fun. And I'm very curious to see how the people will enjoy it. Imagine if you're watching a stream, you've got a little bet as well on one of the 9 players that's left. Makes it more exciting.
Yeah, for sure. You're going to be rooting for your players even more. Yeah, no, that's very, very cool to see. Bono's got 2 6s. He's chipping up slowly. Somehow has Misakowski like really out chipped. Misakowski, I don't know how. I thought he had 2 million chips at some point.
Yeah, but
just been folding.
Alex is shoving into him every single small blind, so he never gets a walk, and then he's also forced to fold his small blind very often, and he's been pretty card dead. I really don't think there's been much he's been able to do. Look at this. Power poker right there. The king deuce, a suited shove from the button. Gonna take this small blind and big blind down as well.
2 3s. Thinking about opening or shoving? That's the question.
I've got a question for you, Nanonoko. After this performance, right, Alex Ponikov was offering to sell 50%. He only sold 12.5% in the lobby at a 1.15 markup. I think next week, 1.3 markup, okay? After this performance, double that price.
That'd be pretty funny. If you remember, try to check out the lobby and see if he changes his markup price. In the little description box is like, winner of Super Millions, like, things will be different.
Yeah. 1 Super Millions number 24. Trying to win number 25 as well. Justin Bonomo with the shove, the queen 10 suited from the button.
Yeah, Bonomo was just trying to shut out his opponent because he saw that he got bullied earlier when he opened that queen 10 and the ace 3 still reshove on him. So by jamming yourself, you kind of prevent those situations. Of course, you put your stack at risk. I think king 3, you got to call it off. Yeah. I know you don't love it, but you're getting short, and Ponikov is shoving any 2 cards almost.
I feel like this time he's not shoving. I was about to say, I feel like he's not going to shove. I actually thought he might just fold. Instead, he's going to go for the limp. But I think he also knows that if he limps, it's very likely that David Misakowski will shove. Actually, does not happen. So we get to see a flop here. Jack deuce against king 3. Neither player really flops anything. It's very easy for Alex to throw in 1 big blind, right? Just to see what's up.
Yeah. I would definitely throw in 1 big blind because when you limp, it kind of looks like you got aces or kings, so you can keep the story up. And wow, so Misakowski could have potentially won that pot by shoving pre. I think I still would have shoved the king 3 pre-flop. Just be like, you got it. But taking down what's in the middle is still important. Queen 3, you got to go with it. I know you don't love it, but you got no chips.
It does always feel better to shove all in than calling all in. Justin bottom of the tables were turned, and he had 7-5 in the small blind. He may have just gone for it, but calling it off at 7-5. What is it, like 600K more to play for 1.5 million?
I mean, the odds are right. It is the right odds. Just that it's the final table. So the question is, does that change things up a little bit? And I do think the answer is yeah, it does.
When you
Some
look up
people,
to the
yeah.
skies and you ask yourself, am I Justin Bonomo and do I run good at final
Then
tables?
you call. Then you definitely call.
I mean, I think he will know that he's most likely live. It's very unlikely that David has a 7 or a 5. He will make the fold. Doesn't really want to put in the extra 600K. Yeah. I think either is fine, right? I think calling is fine there.
Well, if it was like one small blind less, I think you start to call with. But I think it seems fine, but I wouldn't fault either way. Misakowski's gonna. Okay, so this is what you got to do when you're short. You just shove and you chip up a bit, give yourself a chance to fight and survive some blinds.
I mean, look at what just happened from his stack. He went from 600K to 1.2 million. Uh-oh, Bruno Vogtman could be in some trouble here, though.
Yeah.
Small blind against big blind, ace-5 offsuit against Alex
Don't
Ponakov
punt
with the
it.
kings again.
Nice. Good thing Bruno Vogtman limped. He's going to get a raise, but Vogtman still might feel a little obligated to put some action in because this is just chip leader being aggressive. I would like to see Vogtman just be like, you know what? You might have it.
No.
Misakowski is short.
This is the blow-up, Nanonoko. Bruno Vogtman is going to shove all in. He's like, I will never do this with a bad hand, so you got to fold. No, I don't know.
I mean,
it's obviously a lot.
He does have a lot of fold equity if he did jam here, because the truth, Alex Ponikoff's going to raise garbage.
Yeah.
Vogtman's thinking about it, man. The more he thinks about it, the worse it gets for him.
It's the worst feeling ever when you think about it for a while. He does put in the raise to 1.1 million. Do you think that Alex should ever call here, or is this just always shove? I think calling is not too bad, no?
Well, but Vogtman would do this with a good hand that would pay off too. Calling's fine, of course. I'm not too sure what the best play is because a lot of guys just limp jam normally with the 20. He makes the call, and Vogtman is going to lose a bunch of chips. I do like that Vogtman decided to limp re-raise, not all in, rather than jamming, because Ponikov's range is usually pretty polarized to usually just folding to the 3-bet. I wonder if Vogtman still fires a flop. That's a nice check. I think he's a little bit suspicious. He did see Ponikov slow play those 2 kings against Bonema earlier, right? Against the 2-9. So maybe he's like, this guy could have some good stuff.
What would be the correct bet size here? Like 550, 600Ks?
25% pot. That's just about 25%. Don't need to bet much bigger. If your opponent has a piece, they're going to commit anyways. Give them a chance to make a mistake.
If you're Bruno here, it sucks to give up a 2.3 million pot for a 500K bet, but if you don't have it, you don't have it. And other than a couple backdoors, he really just didn't have much going for himself. So Alex Ponikov will just extend his lead over the rest of the table. I mean, I don't think I need to tell you guys that he's got more chips than the other 3 players combined. Pretty much has double the amount of chips of the other 3 players combined.
Yeah, I mean, Vogtman was in a good second place position. Now he's in a fight with the other 2 guys. Misakowski, Queen Jack suited. Is he going to make the call? You don't love to call it off, but at some point you just got to go for it.
I wouldn't hate it if he does it. I mean, he is still a pretty clear short stack, and he does make the call, and he will receive pretty good news that he is super live. Queens, jacks, diamonds. Queen on the flop is good enough. Justin Bonomo is drawing that to one of the last 2 remaining trees. And that is not a tree because there's a lot of paint there. Well done by David. I think that's a good call.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about sometimes we're like, okay, you know what, just throw it in there. Don't get blinded out. You don't love it, but a little bit of gamble is important. And Bonomo is the clear short stack. And he's probably thinking, how am I in this situation? Is 2 jacks against the ace-4.
This is
GG.
going all in.
Is this it? Can I just say it? Bonomo out in 4th place.
Well, Bonomo can spike an ace on the flop, on the turn, on the river.
Or
There's
both.
the ace. David now needs one of the last two remaining jacks, or he will give a lot of the chips he just won back.
How do you get rid
There
of
we
this
go.
guy?
Ace 4 holds. But this was still good for David Misakowski because earlier he was down to 600K and now he's sitting at 1.6 million. So still a million more than he had before.
He's Bono. You can't get rid of him. 9-3 offsuit. Wow, this is a weekend, isn't it?
I love it. The 9-3 offsuit under the gun open. And he just takes it down. I mean, at this point, it's so nice for Alex because the other three are all looking at each other. I mean, fourth place pays close to $180,000. But if you just make top two, you make $273,000. So this is just fantastic for Alex because he's like, I know you guys want those fade jumps and I can just open anything.
Okay, this should be interesting. Does Volkman just ship it in, or does he go for the min raise? If he goes for a min raise, we've seen Ponikov's reshove like the ace 3 earlier, so he's going to jam it himself.
Yep, I think that's the right play. It's also going back to what you said earlier about ace 9. It's a hand that doesn't flop that great, so you don't really want to be in an awkward position where, you know, you do have to play a flop and you're like, oh, I completely missed. And then Alex is just throwing in the 1.5 big blind. And you're like, you just hate life at that point. This man loves 8-5.
He's going to play any two cards, I think, at this point. But Misakowski, ace king, going to give some action.
Yeah, I thought he was going to shove as well. I felt he was going to shove. Like the king 5, I have the feeling he's just going to get it all in and hope that everybody else falls. But David Misakowski will make the call. And if he can just either flop an ace or avoid the 5s, he's going to get a big double up here. Well,
done.
There's
Sealed
the big
it.
double up. 3.5 million heading into the man's way with the rocky internet connection tonight.
Still he's in second place. He's in second place somehow. Not too long ago, this guy had 800,000 chips, was in last place, was looking to be out, but now he's looking good to outladder these other guys. It's some big pay jumps right now. It's 40K for the next one.
Man is gonna buy an entire data center tonight, mate. He's like, this will be the last disconnect I ever had. Let's see what Alex Ponikov decides to do with the 8 deuce offsuit in the small blind. Might be a little upset. He's like, wow, so that's how it feels to lose hands. Forgot that feeling. Didn't happen much so far. This has been such a smooth ride for him at this final table. It's crazy.
Yeah, I like the raise from Ponikov. I know his hand is bad, but Misakowski's in second place has a lot of pressure against him to really not defend hands that can definitely call it. 2 aces now. Wow. Oh, man, Ponikov's might shove. Because we saw him shove earlier, right? The king 10 exactly.
That would actually be such a big shift of momentum. And here we go. King 10 offsuit all in. And David Misakowski, well, he's only waiting because he perhaps ideally wants Justin Bonomo to tag along for the ride. But here we go again. 6.8 million in the middle. There is a 10.
Do not do it.
Yeah, that'd be brutal. A king or a 10 is what Alex need to win another monster pot.
Saved.
That is, yep, that is not a king or a 10. So that means that the man who was down to 600K just 5 minutes ago is now up to 6.8 million and is actually pretty close to the chip leader. What a moment to pick up aces there.
Yeah, and Ponikov's thinking, oh my God, did I let this guy back in? He's got 6.8 million. It looked like Alex was definitely going to ship this tournament now. And Misakowski's been to his final table 3 times, had some 7th, 9th place, but this one's really the moment. And the funny thing is, the 2 previous times he made the final table, he did not get disconnected once. But the time he starts getting disconnected, it's his best run.
Justin Bonomo, who is now the clear shortest stack, decides to limp with the 7-6 suited. Bruno Vogtman does what Bruno Vogtman does, and that is just immediately put it all in with the ace-5. He's like, nope, I'm not seeing any flops with you, my friend. Jack 8. Do you do it, Nanonoko?
I don't think so, but I can see some people just thinking, look, let's just get one, pick up some blinds before they come around. Bottom one does not shove.
We know that that was good news for Bonomo because he would have absolutely been called by the ace queen of Alex. The sevens, though, that's an easy shove, but I don't think he's going to get any action. But just picking up the blinds, I think is very nice here.
I'm thinking Misakowski is wondering, like, how do I have 6.6 million chips? This is the life. This is wonderful.
Let's see if he has taken a note out of Alex's playbook. So this is where I all in, right? It's
Yep.
like, yeah, that's what you do, David Miskowski, when you've got a lot of chips. And Justin Bonomo.
He's never had this many chips ever in his Super Millions history. Ponikov's, though, you see how he folded the Jack-9 on the button? He's like, Miskowski's got a little bit too many chips now. So things really change when there's a guy with 40 big blinds now. You can't just shove any cards. You don't want to min raise too, because then now the short stacks start reshoving, and its dynamic has changed a lot.
Absolutely. I mean, earlier, even if Alex was called a couple times when he was shoving one of his weak hands, it didn't hurt, right? The worst that could happen is he loses 2 million. It's like, well, big deal. We'll go from 12 million to 10 million, and I'm still the dominant chip leader. Imagine a world where he now loses 6.8 million. He'd be the shortest stack at the table. So that'd be a disaster. You got to be very careful. King 9. Are we sending it?
I think so. You got nothing to wait for. You're gonna eat the big blind. You're gonna eat the small blind. Yeah, I think it's the right play.
Level 37 already. That is. I feel like this is often where the tournament ends.
We are getting pretty close because we were shorthanded so quickly. The blinds have gone up a lot quicker than normal. I think I see a flop here of the Jack-8. Hope to hit something and just ship it in.
Yeah. Basically any piece though, right? Even if it's second pair.
Yeah, and it could be like a little gut shot. I think it's reasonable. I think here I just open ship. And he's gonna you're gonna just win the pot a lot. Looks like he does decide to check. But with Jack-8, you got enough equity. I'm not sure what bottom was going to do. I'm a little bit curious.
I feel like if he wanted to play, he would have shipped it indeed. He would have just gone all in. 977 into 800K. I don't know if you really want to be calling here, though. Because now I feel like you know that Alex will probably not go anywhere. So you're kind of forced to fold.
Yeah, he does just check fold. That's interesting. I would have thought he might have wanted to shove that, but well, it is what it is. Ace Jack suited definitely knows what to do. The question is it min raise, try to induce action, or just ship it? He's going to rip it in. He's like, I'm going to make sure they don't make some call in the big blind and just suck out. He's just shut him out.
Yeah. I mean, 320K at a time, man. Small blind, big blind, and the antes. Like that those are proper pots. You don't even really need any more action on your hands there. That is half of Justin Bonomo right now, just by sending it all in and not getting any action. This could be fun.
I mean, normally Ponikovs would just ship it, but he's playing too deep to make such an insane play, especially when the guy's woken up with 2 aces before. But he still raise. He still has a lot of fold equity. Just go for a big raise. Try to shut out your opponent.
It's like 4xing it almost. That's crazy.
Yeah, just try to make sure like these. So say like the queen 9 offsuits. Normally they call like a 3 big blind raise. They probably won't call 4 big blind raise just in case. And 2 aces for Bruno Volkmann. He's been running a bit cold lately.
Imagine if Alex comes over the top.
I think
Alex has been playing. You know what the trap in poker is when you're a big stack? You play so many garbage.
Oh, he lays it down.
Yeah, that's very well done. Because I had the feeling that he probably looked at King Queen. He's like, that's pretty good. That's way better than most of the hands I've been playing with tonight. And that's an excellent fold by Alex Ponikov.
Yeah, no, that's pretty sick actually, because we've seen him make some other plays. I think he was just suspicious Volkmann had something, but also Misakowski having a big stack doesn't make things nice. He's gonna open to ace 3. What does Bonomo do with queen 10 offsuit? 3 big blinds.
You definitely, I think, you send that. because there is such a big chance that it won't get any better than that in the upcoming two hands. And I think with Queen 10, at least most of the time you're a live dog, you should have at least 40%. I would absolutely go for it here.
Plus, you have the small blind committed.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. And you could have the best hand. Bondakov's obviously opening like 10-9 suiteds and 10-8s. Volkman's just wondering, should he maybe see a flop too? Try to bust out this Bonomo. It's
flop a couple clubs.
I think he's trying to figure out if he calls, can Ponakov re-raise again?
No, right?
I don't think so. It looks like it's less than 200K raise, right? So yeah, he shouldn't be able to. Yeah, so that's why he's calling.
He makes the call. Yep, he makes the call. Alex Ponakov will obviously make the call as well. Unless we were wrong, but fortunately we've got Nanonoko over here, so we were not wrong. That's a great flop for Alex Ponakov, though. Ace-3. Justin Bonomo may feel a little hopeful, but I think he knows that if there are two other players in this hand, a pair of tens with a queen kicker is probably not good enough. But he's still alive.
Can still hit it. I'm curious. Volkman's play is pretty interesting pre-flop. I'm not too sure what the optimal play is, but anyways, here it is. Is this the end?
Queen or a 10. The 8 is no good. We need a queen or a 10, or this will be the end of our triple crown winner. That is spade. It's a queen.
Oh my god.
You can't get rid of this guy, as you said, Nanonoko. Justin Bonomo. I mean, it's only 1.9 million, but he's just staying alive.
That's insane. He actually got like a triple up because of Volkman calling as well. And whew, that is okay. Potato Internet is back for Misakowski. He's reconnecting, but wow. Bonomo, he's a lockbox. How do you win that hand to Queen 10?
Look at the hands we have right now. Justin Bonomo has pocket jacks. Bruno Volkman has ace-5 offsuit.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what Volkman does. I don't know if he will commit, but he might be on a little bit of tilt and just be like, you know what, screw it. Let me just Bonomo it up.
Let's see what Bonomo does. Does he go for the raise? Yes, he does. I have the feeling that Bruno Volkman is going to send it, man. I know he's been like somewhat tight and conservative tonight. Okay, he does make the fold, so he wants to stay around a little bit longer, hoping that Alex wakes up with kings again, like he did a couple times. It's like, can you just bust this Bonomo guy once and for all, so at least we secure top 3. Oh.
The king 8 is going to be like, oh man, is this the right price? 5 more big blinds. Probably not. Is ahead sometimes. Oh well, okay. It is a call and good spot for Bruno Volkman to be back in 2.7 million in chips.
There is an 8 though, so any 8 or any king will do it. There's the king.
End of Volkman.
Bruno Volkman needs a 9. Does not get it. That is it. Nanonoko. Bruno Volkman goes out in 4th place, walks away with $179,000, and we are down to 3.
I can't believe Bruno Volkman busted before Justin Bonomo. Bonomo was on the ropes many times. Volkman actually was in 2nd place, 4-handed bunch out. That's sad to see. But given the way the final table went for him, it kind of seemed like nothing went his way. He came in 2nd place, but regardless, 180K is still pretty good. But right now, Bonomo is hanging in there, man. He's just doing so well. But GG to my pick. Your pick is still in and alive, Roddy. Can he get it done?
I mean, for the people at home, we've got 2 competitions going on over here. A, we picked the winner, and B, whose pick lasts the longest. All right, I'll give it to Nanonoko. He picked more winners, but my picks, even though they don't win, they do outlast your picks whenever you don't pick the winner 98% of the time so far.
Okay, you can find a win somehow. Somehow you get to stretch a little bit. Ace Jack is going to pump it up. Man, there's a chance Bonomo just ships this tournament because as long as he never busts, well,
yeah, then you win.
I mean, you can't lose.
That is correct, Nanonoko. That is a fact, guys. If you never bust, you'll eventually end up winning the tournament. Unless there is somebody else who also never busts, but then we're going to be here for a while. And eventually we have to start High Roller Super Million number 25 because people want to bet on that final table as well, Nano. Final table betting next Monday. Just open the lobby of the High Roller Super Millions and you guys can place your bets.
That's right. Looks like we got a limp pot here. Yeah, things really changed for Ponikobbs ever since he lost that pot to Misakowski. So he's taking a little bit different approach on some hands. Hands that he normally would just keep raising. He's now trying to limp, see some flop. But two aces, this is nice, but no action from these two hands.
No, not even the 4-9 is gonna fight back here. I think. Don't do it, Justin Bonomo. Alex Monikov has definitely been the one who's been getting the most premium hands. That's not the main reason why he's chip leader, because that's not really where he won the majority of his hands, right? But he had a big one with queens earlier. Then he got a decent amount of chips out of his kings twice. Now he gets aces.
Interesting spot coming up. Bonomo's going to shove the 12 big blinds, I'd imagine, with ace-7 suited. Queen 10. Plus EV chip call, but is it the right ICM final table call? I don't know.
I don't think he's going to call. I think he's afraid, man. He's been losing too many chips. If he was 12 million, he'd be calling. But with 8.6, I don't think he dares to do it.
Yeah, I can see what you're saying. Maybe he's thinking, look, Bonomo's got a good post-flop game. Maybe I just take a little of a gamble here to try to take him out with the Queen 10. It's reasonable. He is going to make the call.
Well, here we go. We're off to the races. A7 against Queen 10. There is a queen, which means Justin Bonomo needs an ace. And now an ace
he can't
only.
do it again. It's literally impossible for an ace to come. It's impossible.
You're right. This time, Nanonoko was right. GG to Justin Bonomo. It was a lot of fun to have him here at the final table of the High Roller Super Millions. And emoji, we haven't seen those all night long. We're down to heads up. Alex Ponakov still in the lead. Obviously, 11 million against 6 million. But in these heads-up battles, Nano, I won't call anything anymore because we've seen guys with like 15% of the chips in play still make magical comebacks.
I think Bonomo played great. Of course, he got very lucky in some spots, a lot of all-in spots, but he actually played really good. He made some nice call downs against Volkman with the 4-3. He had the 2 9s. Remember the 2 9s against the 2 kings that Ponakov slow played? That the way he played it saved himself and actually got him a bunch of ladders as well. So it's a good run for Bonomo. He only played the Super Million 5 times, by the way, and his first final table shipped 220K, definitely in the profit. But right now it's the chip leader versus the guy with a terrible internet connection.
Just want to mention we've got one more free roll starting tonight. We're giving away 5 more $25 tickets for the GG Masters Daily. Password is millions, capital M. I like how our production team went away from the password Nanonoko password rather than they're like, man, everybody got all sad when the password was Nanonoko. You know what? We'll just make it super. And then for the second free roll, we'll make the password millions, capital M.
They should make the password Misakowski so that no one enters the free roll because no one can type it in.
Well, that's when you open the lobby. Just Google that. You get a lot of hits when you Google him. I've tried to Google him. So
all right, so let's see. Right now they're playing actually a limping game already, like right off the bat. Both players have been limping with pretty big stacks, actually. 30 big blinds. We'll see how they approach it. They probably have never played heads up against each other in their lives, so it's a bit of feeling out and trying to figure out what your opponent's going to do, make the proper adjustments, and kind of go from there. It's a limp of 9-7 suited, ace-3 suited. I think you can go either way with a check or a limp. Of course, when you raise a hand, not check or limp, check or raise. When you raise ace-3 suited and you get called, it is tricky to play if you don't flop anything.
How's your heads-up game, Nanonoko?
It's not great, but it's not bad either. I've played a fair amount, but I think you give me 1 week to study, I'll be better than Daniel Negreanu.
Nanonoko, I'll drop the gauntlet, mate. When you move out of Australia and you can actually log into the client, we'll get a little battle going.
Sounds good, mate. Man, okay.
Put a little giveaway on the line.
Yeah, that sounds like fun for sure.
All right, the ace-3 is going to bet. A little over 2 big blinds into a 1.7 million pot. 9-7 makes the call on the paired board. Where haven't we seen that before?
When you bet so small and your opponent sees backdoors, they almost always call. So now it's a bit dicey. Misakowski is going to be in a tricky spot. Going to keep betting. Nice. Wow. Just keep the betting lead. He's like, I might have the best hand. I don't want to check and call this hand. Well done.
10-9 is gonna limp. Jack 4 will just check it down. Not a bad flop for 10-9, I'd say. Got 2 overs and the gut shot.
I'd throw some bets out. Just got a lot of equity. Get some better hands to fold like the Jack 4. Well done.
I mean, this is very close, right? A 2 million chip lead or 3 million at this point. I feel like in heads up, it's one hand. Like that's what it is. Like less than one proper pot, and the tables could be turned. So this really is still anybody's game. I mean, for David Miskalski, it'd be fantastic. This is his third final table, right? Yes. But the previous ones, you know, they didn't really go his way. Today, he finally had a proper chance to show what he was made of. Such an old school player as well. It's really cool to see him having some success here on the Tuesday evening.
And he knows he's good, right? So he's he's got to his final table. He knows he deserves one of those top spots, and that's why you just keep playing. You know, sure, 9th place is disappointing, or 8th or 7th, but as long as you know you're profitable, you got to keep coming back for more. Alex did open. He actually raised Jack Deuce offsuit this time, trying to mix it up. 6-5 made the call, and it's still got the best hand. Jack Deuce, you got no chance to win this pot. The king is definitely tempting to keep betting again. You're just thinking, okay, it's hard for my opponent to have a king, and my opponent has a lot of one pair straight draw hands that might just give it up.
Let's see how this one plays out. I was distracted by...
I think if Ponikoff bets his turn, he needs to follow through for river a lot of times, as long as it doesn't hit those straight cards. It's a tough spot for 5-6, though. You got bottom pair. You do have a straight draw. It's not a lovely spot to play, I'll tell you that.
It's hard to make a pair, though, in heads up. And that's what David Misakowski thinks as well. Makes the call, doesn't get the straight, but improves to 2 pair. And 2 pair in a heads up battle, you feel pretty good about those.
Ponikoff's okay. He's thinking, is he going to fire one more? It's tough, though. It's harder to represent an 8 here, right? It's possible for him to 8. He knows his opponent has a lot of one pair hands. But if he doesn't think his opponent folds 2 pair, he shouldn't be betting. Yeah, he checks.
I like it. Obviously, by losing this pot, this now means that we've got a new chip leader for the first time in hours, but it just didn't work out at hand. I don't know. He tried again, and I feel like eventually it's better to wave the white flag than all of a sudden give your opponent even more chips when he could absolutely have the nizzles there.
Yeah, I think I like the nizzles. So yeah, we're just using the cocky T lines today. I want to say, I think Ponikoff would have bet the river if it didn't hit one of those middling cards that improves the 8-9s, the 7-8s, the 6-5s.
Both players flop a 6 here on this paired board. Funny turn, as Alex does pick up a gut shot now as well. I feel like we're gonna chop this one up, Nanonoko. It's gonna be like a jack on the river.
I mean, the 9 could play if a deuce rolls off, right? Or 5? No, not a 5, a deuce.
Oh, a 3. 10 does not play. Which means that we are definitely heading towards a chop pot, unless one of the players decides to be very aggressive and gets the other one off the hand.
Even with aggression, though, I feel like they're still going to pay it off and be very, very hard. Yeah, I'm just wondering, man, Misakowski is the chip leader. It's pretty insane because you got to remember, he was down. He was throughout the whole final table. He's been pretty calm, just hanging in there, trying to outladder people. Then he had 4 or 5 big blinds. Picked up 2 aces. The 2 aces was the one I really set him off because he had 3.2 million, made a 6.4 million, and it's just. But you know, he's a different game now because you only got one opponent to beat. Misakowski, just like I'm finally here to play when there's no one else but one guy to remain.
What was the other one? Was like King 10 against Ace King?
Queen Jack suited. He called off against bottomless open shove. He was in the big blind.
Yeah, no, but that was later. I feel like he had a big double up before.
Oh yeah,
I think he had Ace King.
Ponikoff's open jam King 5 into Misakowski Ace King 10 big blinds. Yeah,
that's what it was.
But he had multiple hands he needed to win. He did win them all. Bottom similar story, but not the last one.
Queen 7 is going to fire. I think David will make a call. Has a gut shot, has a backdoor flush draw. These are all things to get very excited over when you're down to heads up. When most of the time there isn't much to get excited over. Is queen high good here? No. Those are the conversations you have with yourself when you're playing heads up.
Because well, Mr. Kowski has to bet this because he knows his opponent has a lot of just better high card hands that probably will fold. I don't think Queen 7 can call here, right? Like he only beats 3, 4, 4, 5.
Oh,
Like
the nut low. Gets
Nice.
it done with the nut low. The man was literally playing the board there and gets it done. We've got two decent hands going up against each other here. Queen 10 versus Queen 9. Man, David Misakowski, what a comeback. I don't know if it's quite like, was it Lucas Greenwood who had the magical comeback, who was down to 3 big blinds very early on. But this truly has been one hell of a comeback as well.
Yeah, it's definitely kind of similar vibes because I remember Lucas Greenwood's final table. Lucas Greenwood didn't do anything the whole tournament, and all of a sudden he just shipped it. It's kind of similar right now because Misakowski's like didn't do anything, but in the top 2 potentially could ship it. But Panakov's obviously came in his chip lead. He's not out, and they got a lot of blinds to play for. Check on the flops. Okay, so I think this Queen 9 might just go for a little stab here and lose some more chips.
Yep. Well, makes the check for now. Definitely think that David is going to throw in a couple chips in the middle. Maybe 400K. Seems like a decent bet.
Yeah, something like that. Exactly. Man, you on point with this Misakowski today.
Well, I've been watching a lot of poker. I feel like I've got square eyes. I don't know if you've seen the Queen's Gambit, but that's me right now when I lay in bed. I'm like seeing flops on the ceiling and stuff like that.
That's
8 on the
excellent show.
river.
Excellent show.
Yeah. I enjoyed it as well. Queen 9 does not improve with that 8 on the river, which means that David is still good. Probably wondering
David.
what can I get called by here?
Well, he can still represent draws, so spades, and so he could definitely get looked up. He's got a good kicker, so I like the value bet. Queen 9 though, like, I don't know, what can you do? You just got to be like, I fold. I mean, well, actually, Alex Pontikov uses a lot of time bank in general. He's only got a minute left. He's thinking about making some sick play though. You can feel it, don't you?
But you wouldn't call here with Queen High, right? Like he would come up.
Oh my! You wouldn't call. Makes the call.
I thought if anything, like he was just gonna rip it all in and like hope that his opponent had absolutely nothing. But Alex, with one of his first, I'd say, missteps of the entire final table up to this point, it's now down to 5 million chips, and things are looking very bright for Mr. David Misakowski, who could very well get a brand new internet connection this week, guys. With $337,000 on top, I believe that you can make your dreams come true.
Sick. That was one of the most ambitious calls I've seen in a while. I'll tell you that. Yeah, wow. We'll just leave it at that. But nut flush flopping it.
I almost wish he would have checked here. Like maybe a bit too excited to flop the nizzles there.
There's nothing wrong with betting though, because I think he will get paid off a little bit anyways. Queen Jack versus Ace 10. This is some action heavy hands. I think Misakowski goes for a 3-bet, maybe all in.
25 big blinds when we started this hand for Mr. Alex Ponakovs. Ace 10 is just going to rip it all in immediately. Alex will make the fold. Once upon a time, he was a 58% Volcano, I believe. He was a Raging Inferno, just getting it all. And now he's a 50% VPIP Ice Cube. We all hate seeing that Ice Cube next to our name.
Yeah, we shipped him from a volcanic island to the North or South Pole. He's just like fucking freezing. Jack 6. Man, he's just falling apart, isn't he?
When you see Jack 6, do you think of short deck as well or no?
No, I don't think of Jack.
Okay. Well,
hey, you know what? Will. Bad hand in both games, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, Jack 6 doesn't really flop anything. I think this is the kind of board where you don't feel too bad about it with your ace high, right? Especially in a heads up pot. You're like, well, probably
you can't fold ace highs in heads up pretty much, at least for one bet. Otherwise, you're just giving up a little bit too much. Man, I cannot unsee the Jack 6 offsuit now, which is hilarious. Like, this is a short deck worth.
I'm just putting these things in your brain, Nana. 5 of diamonds on the turn is actually interesting. Both players do hold 1 diamond, but Alex has the higher one.
Alex might throw in one more bet. He's got a good flush draw. Can get better hands to fold, like some queen highs. You know, if he's calling people queen high, he could put other people on queen high. You know, and get
Wow.
better hand to fold. Nice.
All right. I mean, obviously, David probably thinking that his 4 high flush draw is no good there and doesn't want to get
Oh,
himself in any more trouble. This
Alex
could be a
Ponikovs
big
is
one.
back. He's back, isn't he? It's gonna be a raise. Man, Misakowski might just limp jam the ace-5 suited. He might limp call too. I think both plays are reasonable, but definitely a hand can put a lot of chips in. With a big raise like that, you're more tempted to limp jam because your opponent's very polarized, and you're getting.
What about calling actually here?
Calling's reasonable, but when you see there is the limp jam and Misakowski misstep.
Yep, the 7s won't go anywhere. Can we get an ace or not? So far, no, but we do pick up extra outs with the 3. There's the 3. And it is all over. David Misakowski will win the 24th edition of the High Roller Super Millions. And that was the winning hand, guys. Ace-5 of hearts. I don't know if anybody predicted the Ace-5 of hearts to be the winning hand tonight, but if you did, congratulations. You just won $2,400. If you guys want to know more about that, just head over to twitter.com/GGPokerOfficial. But no, Lucas Greenwood 2.0 tonight? Is that what we just witnessed?
Pretty much. And it's like, okay, David Misakowski trying to outlast his 7th place performance, 9th place performance before, right? And then, you know, oh, he's down to 4 big blinds, a 4-handed. Like, can he outlast Bonham or Volkman? Oh, he gets a double up. That's cool. You got 10 big blinds. Oh, another double up. Not bad. What do you mean? Ponikovs is shoving. I've got 20 big blinds, 2 aces. He makes the call again, and he's playing heads up, right? And then I think he played a little bit better than Ponikovs. I think Ponikovs was pushing a little bit too much action at heads up. Should have maybe calmed things down a little bit, maybe. But it seems like he did bled a bit, kind of just try to bluff off. He pretty much bluffed off and called off some chips of just queen 9 offsuit high. I don't know what that play was about, but Ponikovs did play really well this final table. Heads up, a little bit shaky, I would say, but he was putting the pressure on. Our 2 picks, Bonomo and Volkman, did really well. Top 4, I would say it's pretty good considering the position they gained to the final table was around 2nd through 4th. It's a little bit disappointing, but you know, Bonomo had a bunch of lives, right? Like he got really lucky. He did really well today. It was fun, but I'm not too much more to say about David Misakowski besides he just hung in there. He had a terrible internet connection. We made fun of it over and over again, and but you know what? He can't change the internet connection because the one time he got to the final table with a terrible internet connection, he shipped it. I would hold on to that internet connection for my dear life and just keep playing on it. There's some superstitious luckiness somewhere.
I mean, honestly, really sick. He came into this final table in 6th place. Was not off to a very hot start at all. At one point, well, after posting, it was either a small blind or a big blind. He had 600 and something thousand chips left. And it just kind of felt like he's 1 or 2 hands away from being eliminated of the tournament. And it's funny because I feel like everybody always goes on a little heater eventually, right? Like maybe not necessarily at final tables, but somewhere in the tournament. But that was really the moment to go on a little heater. He had the ace-king hand, then he had the aces. Like those were the best possible aces you could ever wish for. You're like, well, I'm 2nd in chips, but I'm still very close to number 3 and 4. Bam, a double up from 3.2 to 6.5 million. And that's a little bit of lady luck that you need to have on your side as well at these final tables. I think it was pretty memorable though, especially the internet. Like we'll talk about that for many more ways. And to go back to the queen high call, like obviously it didn't work out this time. It was a little bit ambitious, but it is the stuff that Heroes is made of though. Because imagine if he's right there, we'd both be losing our mind. We're like, oh, that's so sick. Let's go, Alex. Queen high. It's not very fair to bash people for that, I think. Even if it's like a bit spooey, maybe. I like ambition, Nanonoko.
Yeah, I do like ambition myself. I'm still not a fan of the board because it was king, 8, 10, 6, or king. It was those cards in different order. I don't know, man. I just, yeah. Say Queen Jack's bluffing you, man. They got you beat still. I don't know. It was ambitious, but you know, you can't play perfect poker. It's pretty hard to do so, but you can play the best. You play your game. He played really well throughout this final table. I think he put in the pressure. He kept making good reshoves. He could make good opens because he knew how his opponents were playing. He played great. Heads up is a different game though. Your opponents can't can't ladder up anymore by folding, right? So it's, you know, he post off's important. They start to play back at you more. It's a whole different ball game. But regardless, he did great. It's all about David Mistikowski today, though, with his potato internet. He got it done. We don't really know how, but he did it. Congratulations to him. But, you know, he kept on trying because he's been to our final tables multiple times, hasn't had a chance to do anything. But we know he's capable. He knows he's capable. He kept joining, and he did ship it today.
I think that is a perfect way to wrap up the 24th edition of the High Roller Super Millions. I've said it before twice already, but guys, next Sunday, as soon as the tournament is done, at least for the Sunday part, when we're down to 9, take a look at the High Roller Super Millions in the GGPoker client. Just go to the lobby, click on the table, and there will be a final table betting green button on the top right side. And then you guys can also make your picks and see if you do a lot better than Nano and I do each and every single week. You know, Nana, we've kind of had a busy show, and obviously we had a minor technical issue in the beginning of it, so I barely mentioned it, but all the Saturday stuff is still happening. You guys can always tune in on any of the GG squad streams that is happening every single Saturday. Egyptian is streaming all the time. Obviously, Kakiti has been streaming a lot. Easter Dams is always active. And then, of course, on this Saturday evening, at least Central European time, I believe it starts 6 p.m. these days, we have the $210 Bounty Beat the Pros event, where if you knock any of those influencers or streamers out, you'll get entry into a 5K free roll. But the actual Bounty event itself is just really fun. You guys should absolutely play it. I don't know what happened to me last Saturday, Nanonoko, but I lost an 80 big blind pot, pocket 10s, small blind against big blind battle. The guy didn't believe me. He thought I was just shoving 40 bigs for no reason. He had king 9, spiked the king. I was left with 7 big blinds, super tilted, ace king next hand, ship it all in. Guy doesn't believe me in the big blind. He's like, I'll call with king 3 offsuit, spikes it 3. Grab my keyboard, threw it through the room. No, I'm kidding. It was fun. I always enjoyed it.
Bought a new keyboard without any winnings. Well done, Roddy.
Yeah, well
I just want to say, I want to say one more thing though before you finish that thought. Do you know we finished this final table really quick? We didn't even make the second break, did we?
No.
It was like so fast. Oh, and I want to say, you mentioned Egyptian, right? IR Egyptian.
Yep.
He actually made the final table of the Battle Malta main event that me and Kevin Martin will be hosting this Saturday.
I know. I have read that, and I'm excited for it. And this was kind of my alley-oop to your slam dunk, Nanonoko. I set you up. That's why I was like, I'm mentioning it, because normally I mention the other guys. I was like, you know what? Maybe Nano's paying attention when I'm speaking. You know, we'll mention Egyptians. But yeah, that's going to be a lot of fun. You and Kevin have obviously been doing a great job covering those final tables as well. It's a little hard for me to watch. I get a little jealous, but I still enjoy the poker.
Yeah, but you know, you'll always be the first, Kevin, on my team.
All right, guys, that is going to do it for us tonight. Of course, make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't done that yet. We will always provide coverage of each and every single session that Danny and Negranu and Doc Pork are having as well. The heads-up matches are, I think, really heating up at this point. Last session was crazy. I've got a little bit of catching up to do, but I saw highlights and it looked great. So make sure to subscribe and don't miss anything. That's it for us. Thank you so much for watching, and hopefully see all of you guys again next Tuesday for another edition of the High Roller Super Millions.